Good evening, Speed Gaming fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, fans of special challenge matches. I am joined in booth tonight by Nitz. My name is Falconic. We've got Moist Mogwai as our tracker. Feasel is restreaming for us. Nitz, what do we have here tonight?
Well, we've got us a special one-off alpha challenge match between the legends Edgeworth and Monoci85. Pretty much two of the best to play this game. Tournament champions, league contenders, experts who have been playing for years, and we're poking behind the curtain with some brand new alpha features that what we did with the last tournament is intersperse it with some random up-and-coming stuff to kind of mix it up. And as a bit of hype for the upcoming tournaments, both the Chaos Rush tournament and other spring tournaments starting soon, we thought we'd do a little special event here with some new and upcoming features. And it looks like it should be pretty exciting because there's some stuff that has basically never been shown off before that we're going to get to see tonight being played by two of the best to ever play. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, they made the mistake of letting you and me create these flags, and boy, did you do kind of a killer job with it here. So what we've got going on tonight is the continuation of the special challenge match. So Monoci85, Mr. Cookie Monster himself, has decided to call out Edgeworth. For those that don't know, Monoci85 is nicknamed the Buzzsaw, one of the fastest you'll ever see play this game, going up against Edgeworth, who is, as of now, until someone dethrones him, I would say the top-ranked #1 player. He took the last league or tournament in March of last year, the spring tournament. And I think what you're going to see here are two titans of our game going up against a very, very strange flag set. So what you've done tonight is you've turned on enemy skills and spells, which is kind of status quo, status attacks, unrunnable formations, but you turned off enemy scripts. So what can we expect with that?
Well, it means, like we used to do back in the day, that the hard-hitting enemies with attack scripts are just going to attack. And the skill and spell-using enemies that cast magic and throw skills at you like Stinger are going to do that. And because of that, you don't get a situation where a powerful attacker has weak magic or a powerful magician is forced to attack you with a weak attack. So it actually kind of makes a lot of the enemies harder. But it also lets the runners rely on their knowledge of what enemies have what skills to be a little more intelligent about what they're going to face when they find a new floor. And that's really important because we have handcrafted for them a pretty weak party. 2 thieves, a black mage, and a white mage, in which everyone has a purpose and a role. And because we've checked off the static EXP distribution, you don't gain extra EXP for your remaining party members when one is dead. So there's no incentive to kill anyone off or dan anyone. You're going to see all 4 party members alive, generally speaking, throughout the whole game. We'll probably go ahead and get this one started as soon as we can. It looks like they've got their names input and they're ready to rock. So as soon as we can trigger them to get started, we will. But
we're starting the countdown here shortly. And you mentioned it here that with the force party, the 2 thieves, the black mage, the white mage, it's kind of interesting, the party setup here, because this is a party that is phenomenal at running away. And at the same time, it's a party that needs a lot of levels at endgame to be able to get anything done. So you really don't benefit from running. And you mentioned the static XP. You also can't dan one of those thieves. Everyone's got to stay alive. Everyone's got to stay in the party, get their levels. It's going to be a little bit slower. So how do you balance running from fights because the party's not so strong versus sticking it out and kind of eating away a little bit of your time for the benefit of extra levels? I think is going to be one of the biggest draws here.
yeah, that's going to be a huge challenge, and that's going to be even more complicated by the fact that we have to do a lot of digging. So one of the new features in Alpha that's being shown off for the very first time tonight is the ability to not incentivize the main progression items. The loot, the rod, the mystic key, things that have always been incentivized in every FFR match until tonight are not on the table. The only incentivized items are the vehicles, the floater, the canoe, the bridge is given for free, the ship and the canal are incentivized, and some important gear like the Massa Moon, a ribbon, and so forth. So all the incentives are gear-based.
And yeah, that's what that will do, as we're taking a look at our magic here, Light 3, level 1, by the way, with that Black Mage, that's going to give you some really, really strong firepower early, and endgame, if you find the tail and change those thieves over to ninjas, that'll give you a little bit of wave clearing late as well. But you mentioned it, having the key items being non-incentivized, it's going to create a decision for our runners. You know that really all you have to do is just dig all chests to find progression. And at the same time, some of those weapons you need are going to be buried behind quest chains. So do you do them? Do you skip them?
Yeah, digging for progression is going to be important. Taking advantage of those limited charges you've got on that Black Mage early is going to be super important to get those quick levels. And we had level 1 exit as well, which is really exciting because it's going to let these people zip in and out of these shuffled floor dungeons. So much opportunity for tactical maneuvering as we get started here.
Oh, did we fail to mention, it's also floor and entrance shuffle, which happens to be Edgeworth's strength at the moment. I know he's been playing a lot of those, and you already saw Edgeworth dip straight in, took out a fight with the light 3, and gained 3 quick levels. So across the board, already level 4. That's huge. Looks like Monoci's also going through, having a little bit of a rough time. He is down 4 light warriors. There's the first wipe of the match. We're not even 2 minutes in. So there's that party you were talking about. Just not very strong early.
The good news for Mono is that he managed to full clear that place before he died. He lost everything he found, but he didn't find anything that important. The best thing in there was a house that he can do without. So he doesn't have to dive back in there. He knows that there's nothing down there.
We, I believe, did not turn on Deep Topher, and we did not include dead ends on this one here. So floor and entrance is going to be a little friendly today.
Yes, not including the dead ends is a new alpha feature that means the 2 dead end Cardia islands that have nothing important in them are going to be the vanilla entrances. Right off the bat, Monoci finds a key item, the ruby, stashed away in a random chest in Cardia Isle, entered from the Temple of Fiends entrance. So right off the bat, we see the loose items piling up. We're going to see a lot more of those tonight.
We are, and as they find each key item, it's an extra 5% experience tonight. We have experience in gold set at 3.0x plus 300, so pretty favorable XP. The only thing that is clamped tonight are the prices. So everything's going to be at least as expensive as it was in the vanilla game, and it can be upwards of 300%. So I believe you said earlier it's going to average out to being about twice as much as what it usually costs throughout the rest of the game here.
Yeah, and while we're just rhyming off everything to look out for, it's been pointed out that Opal Gauntlet was $5,000 sale, so there's some early cash available for these runners. I just love the way that this party, which is so weak normally, is off to a great start with good level 1 magic. Exit for the white mage makes him super useful to keep alive. That linked chest between this floor and the previous. It's funny, the floors are shuffled, but in this case we actually had a marsh floor followed by a marsh floor with a linked chest that they both opened on the previous floor. So that chest was empty, and you almost never see that in a vanilla playthrough.
No, it's one of the harder things to kind of keep up with in a floor and entrance shuffle is whether or not you've seen that linked floor, that linked chest. So having it be back-to-back was kind of favorable here. Edgeworth coming through. He's about to clear out the rest of this floor here. I wonder where he's going to go next. I don't believe he's been up to TOF yet to find out that the ruby is going to be the item there. Maybe something's good hidden in Titan's Trove. Who knows? I don't believe that is one of our incentivized locations we've chosen tonight. It looks like it's not checked, but doesn't mean something couldn't land there because, as you said earlier, all of our key items are going to be loose.
All of them are going to be loose. So finding loose chests is actually perfectly valid strategy here. Mono's still kind of stuck spinning his tires at level 1. He'd love to find something that he can lit 3 and gain some early levels. This party's so fragile right now.
It is, but if there's a runner out there that is comfortable diving things well beyond or before the levels, it's Monoci. That's why they call him the Buzzsaw. He'll dive something level 1 with no fear whatsoever. Surprising, though, that he does have Light 3 and hasn't at least used it to get that initial level or 2, though, like you were saying.
And Edge has got his ruby. You'll see that light up on the tracker down below. Moist Mogwai doing the tracking for us tonight. Bang up job so far. One step ahead. Lit that ruby before he opened the chest, but I like that attention to detail.
Monoci down 2 light warriors already because of those hard-hitting ghosts, followed up directly by Waters. And here we are on Sky 4F. I don't believe we have that shuffle tonight, so they're going to know exactly how to maneuver out of here. But dangerous enemies, as you see on your screen right now.
That's a death trap of a place. He's really just trying to find out, what's down there. I don't think he's going to bother keeping going because that was one scary-looking dungeon. Hard floor after hard floor down there. Yeah,
water floor leading straight into a sky floor. No thanks. Since we know that towns are only going to be mixed among themselves, I like Monoci's adjustment here. He knows that that's a deadly dungeon, especially for a level 1 group. Let's go find out what town we have. Maybe it's Elfland. Maybe it's Provoca. Maybe we can get lucky and level 2 just happens to be level 2 and you have some more spells on hand.
Yes, another new flag tonight, they just keep coming, don't they, is segregating the entrance shuffle from the town shuffle. So even though the towns are shuffled, they're shuffled amongst themselves, and entrances are shuffled amongst themselves. So when you get to a town, you know it's going to be some town. In this case, it's Onrak, which is unfortunate because the magic here is going to be way out of reach, but you can find out that Ruse is level 7, and Fire 2 and Slow, that's actually nice to find because those are terrible spells.
And it's good to have those late because you really don't care about them whatsoever. But like you said, finding Onrak without having Oxyel yet, you can't figure out what's down that path. It's starting to steer us towards the western bank. Now we're going to make our way over to the Dwarf Cave, find out what's there. We do not have extended open progression on, so you cannot walk down to Northwest Castle. So something has got to either be here at the Dwarf Cave or unfortunately buried deep in that dungeon with the sea and the sky floors.
The good news about the sea floor is that with Lit 3, you can probably do some grinding there if you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, there goes Monoci testing that theory.
Yeah, Mono has forgotten. We only have regular open progression, not extended, so you can't walk down. But he does visit the king, standing by himself, who offers up a free ship to get you started. So that, all of a sudden, has opened up a ton of more places to go.
So main NPCs, again, they are going to give out items. Fetch quest NPCs, the fetch quest chains are going to be vanilla. So if you find the crystal is going to lead to the herb to the key. All that's kind of mapped out. So you can kind of put that aside and know that if you get one of those items, you can get your key at any point if you've got mobility to get around. And finding that ship definitely gives them that. So now where does Edgeworth go? Does Edgeworth make his way over towards that Dwarf Cave, pick up the ship? Is he going to make his way down to Elfland, which could be anything, really? The only thing it couldn't be is Onrak or Canaria. I'm probably going to go ahead and guess that I think Melman. The sea just feels like the next one's going to be Melman.
It's been kind of cruel so far with towns you can't use much. It could be Gaia with magic's completely out of reach. It could be even worse, and it could be Lefane, which has virtually nothing of interest at this point.
It could be. One of the flags we were really hoping to turn on here tonight that maybe is Lefane. So there's the commentator curse for you right there.
Sorry, Mono.
The guillotine flag. Explain to us a little bit about what that is on Alpha.
We had an experimental flag that we're working on called NPC Guillotine, which lets you kill those pesky NPCs that get in your way once and for all by talking to them, and then they disappear right after. Unfortunately, it also worked really well on the loot plate and the rod plate, so you could just talk to the plate and it would vanish, and we can't have that. We can't let these guys get any free entrances, so we've had to turn off that experimental feature. When I say that we're showing off some wacky and wild stuff, I mean that. Like, there have been only dozens of people who have played with these flags before tonight.
Yeah, I fully expect that something's probably going to surprise us tonight here as well, because we are just testing so many new features. But Edgeworth and Monoci, two of the titans of this game. If there's anyone that's going to power through and make it through some of the tougher seeds, it's going to be them. Monoci85 finds the ice cave, and at low levels, I believe he's level 2 or 3. It's a place I wouldn't want to be. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, he's being pretty crazy. He's got exit. If he can get to the end of this place and get past the trap tile, it is an incentive chest. It has to have either an amazing piece of gear or a vehicle. And or the floater, excuse me. It could have the canoe, and it could have the floater, or it could have a Masamune ribbon, caster item. There's pretty good stuff that he's desperately trying to get to at this early stage.
It could be like you talked about. It could be the white shirt, could be defense sword. All of those would be welcome, but I think at this point you're really, really hoping for either the Masamune, maybe a ribbon would be nice really early on, but you got to think maybe mobility. Just open up the world to give yourself more possibilities.
He's still going full bore exploration. Just not gonna bother doing any leveling yet until it happens organically on the way. That's the Monoci way, and so far it's made his party stay very low level. Edge is behind in terms of exploration, but ahead in levels, and I really like his position. I see him being able to make a comeback here. I mean, he's not that far behind at all anyway.
No, he's really not, especially for the wipes that Monoci's had so far. To be able to still be out in front here in exploration is pretty big. Now, of course, I think it kind of favors Monoci, because should he find a spot, like here, where you've got a trap tile, if you find a trap tile right in front of this chest, which he should really be checking because that is turned on, the random trap tiles, something that a light 3 can clear out, he can catch up to Edge's levels within a minute, 2 minutes.
Now remember, the armory extra tasty when you know that progression items could be in here. For example, the cube, the rod, which are shuffled out of their normal NPCs that could be in one of these boxes. Good stuff. Oh yeah, unrunnable wizards.
Unrunnable wizards at about the level you'd fight them in vanilla at the Marsh Cave here, so this feels a little bit familiar. Light 3, definitely the spell you want to have against wizards, so that's beneficial. But
gets one off with 2 HP to spare, and he'll get to check this chest.
So having exit here, though, is just huge, especially since this is only 1 4 deep. And there's one of these items.
There's one of
Edgeworth,
those.
though, finds the katana. He's got one thief alive, but he's got no thieves alive now.
Yeah, and a tail is another one of those items that we incentivized as well, did we not? So it could be an incentive location. I think with this particular party, the tail is going to be pretty useful to turn those hapless thieves into, katana-wielding masters of doom.
Yeah, the tail being loose could very well end up being the case that our runners are in go mode for completion of the game, but yet we might see them continue to dig specifically so that they can get those ninjas.
Yeah, check that. The tail is incentivized, along with the floater, the canoe, the ship, the mass moon, ribbon, opal bracelet, white shirt, power gauntlet, and defense sword. Those are our incentive items, and the incentive locations are the 7 main NPCs, Ice Cave Ordeals, and Marsh Cave. And the 7 main NPCs are all the ones that give you something for free. The king, the princess, the canoe sage, the cube robot, Sarda, the vendor item. I think I got them all.
So Monoci making his way down to the Marsh Cave, running into yet another nasty air floor here. He's going to immediately see what's beyond it, though. He's not going to check chest just yet. It's another volcano floor. Having those 2 key items already, that's an extra 10%. The moment he decides to make his stand, I think he's going to catch up in levels very nicely, but Edgeworth just continues to take fights along the way and is really starting to put the distance between him and Monoci.
Question from chat. Is it randomized where there can be more than 1 katana? No, it is shuffled items, not random items. But there are actually 2 katanas in the vanilla game, so there are 2 katanas up for grabs in the shuffle game as well. And Mono has found at the bottom of Marsh Cave, Bahamut's lair. Unfortunately, he does not have the tail, so he can't get promoted yet.
It's good to see that he has access early in the game, even before getting the floater to Bahamut. So should he find that tail, he can immediately go class change right now. And that'd be really beneficial, especially if you can get those thieves converted over to ninjas before level 15. That way you can maximize your spell charges. And Edgeworth, unfortunately, is getting a little bit of that Monoci luck, and he takes a wipe here. Monoci running away with just a single white mage, puts down a tent, and is on his way back. More than likely, well, he can't stop an Elflin because Elflin is Lefane, and Lefane doesn't have a priest to revive at, so he's got to go all the way back to Canary if he wants to get them back up. So is he going to make it through? I don't. Yeah,
he's got a set sail too. Yeah, that is so frustrating for a town to be Lefane at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if it were the Black Mage, but go ahead.
There's been some talk of adding a clinic and an inn to Lefane. Just bash him, break a couple of doors, and build them in there. Just frame it up,
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of buildings that could have a door in it that would, and I think that might be a nice touch with Town Shuffle to at least give Lefane an inn. So that might come someday.
It would. It'd be nice. I don't think I'd ever turn that. Looks like we found really deadly enemies there. At least early on, the Frost Dragons have Stone Toxic, and without any sort of ribbons or anything, Edgeworth was lucky to get out of that without anyone succumbing to it. But we're going to see those quite a bit. TOFR has a few of those as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Edge has got a bit of a better party than Monoci had trying to get the floater item. This could be really big, or it could be a bit of a letdown. There are a few of the incentivized items that are not that great. For example, the defense sword might not excite him too much. But if he gets out of there with something like the canoe, that would be game-changing.
Canoe would be huge. Opens up a lot of the southeastern portion of the world for us right now. Defense sword, really, really great sword. You're not going to be swinging it with this party, especially if you find yourself one of the katanas like Edgeworth did, let alone 2. Those are definitely going to be your go-tos. White shirt being incentivized would be a nice pickup. Your white mage more than likely is going to pick up Invis 2 along the way, so you're going to have at least 2 rounds you can cast to that. So I think the defense sword's probably low on the priority for my listing here. You might even sell it if you come across it.
Oh boy.
There is that
Stone poison Frosty. Fires 3 barrels, takes him down.
He does take him down. Not going to get the extra XP from the 2 stone members because static XP is turned on, but he survived it.
And he had 1 soft. He's able to get a party member back. If he can just hoof it over, he'll find out what that trap tile is. And if he finds out that it's runnable and he can survive it, then he's got a shot here.
Couple wraiths are going to put a little bit of a hurdle in his way. Monoci has now followed suit and is in the ice cave.
Yeah,
a little bit better levels this time, but
yeah, they both know that you can't ignore the incentive item. It's too important until you know what it is. If it turns out to be the defense sword, sure, you can forget about it. But if it's the floater or the canoe, you got to have it, and you got to have it now.
And keep in mind, Matoya's cave, which was sea and some sky, could still have something beyond it as well.
Oh, Mono finds the katana.
Black shirt. Not bad. It's definitely nice this early. It's not what they were looking for, though, is it?
It is not what they're looking for. But with this fledgling party, free ice 2 is all you can eat is, it'll help. But it is definitely one of the worst things they could have found.
All right, so it's looking more and more like we are going to make our way back over to Matoya's cave, and we have a deadly dungeon ahead of us here. From what we saw, at least so far, it was seafloor that led into one of the skies. I believe it was Sky 4F. Don't think we got to see what was beyond that because Monoci took a wipe because, he went in at level 1 as you do.
Yeah. See, that seafloor there probably has enemies that he could destroy with Lit 3 to give himself a bit of a level advantage here. He's got to get past that white dragon because he wants to find out what's in that incentive chest.
It is, it's a little strange that they haven't kind of made their stand yet to pick up some free levels that Light 3 is going to afford you. Maybe Edgeworth does it now that he's got the black shirt and he has 2 wave clears. But yeah, with everything I've seen so far, you got to think that levels are really going to pay dividends if you can get those early. Zardia pointing out that Edge bought himself a couple of pro rings. That's going to help protect against the death spells. Plus, 8 defense, I believe each one is?
Mono fires a couple of barrels. Yes, 8D. They're basically the best hand armor in the game. Poison comes out, and it stops his black mage again. That's going to stop him in his tracks. Yeah. Yeah,
I think, like you said, with this seafloor being 1 floor deep, right next to a town. Now, granted, that town doesn't have a save capability, but you've got tents and cabins. I think you make your stand there. Get yourself to level 10 to 12. Get some of that health going up there. Raise your magic defense ever so slightly. Maybe it turns the favor against some of those stone poisons.
All right, he's gone back in with a different RNG. He's going to try and get through this floor without running into that dreaded unrunnable Frosty. Maybe he can do it. I see different enemies this time around completely. There's a lot of encounters, but he's still fully alive, and he's out of that floor.
Made it out. Is he? He is gunning it.
Yeah, he's not wasting
going straight there.
He is going to check these 3 chests. Oh, that's not bad if he can get promoted. And he's got 1 more step to go before that chest.
Okay, as long as the white mage stays alive, he'll have a free exit out. He won't have to walk this out. But
3 wyverns.
Hitting that white mage, getting it low, does get away, finds out the he's going to get his free exit.
He got it. He got it. He's got an exit. He can get out. He can keep his black shirt. Not bad.
But Lefaine's right next door, and you can't do anything in Lefaine right now, so he wants to get that thief back up, which he should, because again, static XP is not going to split the difference. He's got to go sailing. Now,
we've got Edge picking his way through the armory floor. Just a ton of treasure chests here and some trap tiles to explore. Ocho and Karibe, not what you want. You guys are so annoying, and it looks like they have sleep touch.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they didn't have sleep touch, that's not a bad trap tile with light 3 and a black shirt on hand. I wouldn't spend too much time there, but with Sleep Touch, that's just going to make it a little bit too annoying for me. I like Edgeworth to just kind of pick up and move on.
Mono pops into the walk-in clinic back in Caneria. It's everybody's favorite clinic. That clinic has saved so many Light Warriors over the years that it deserves a medal. He is now going to head to his last remaining dungeon, which is just a nasty, nasty place with sea shrine floors and sky floors. So we'll see how he gets through here.
Now, we haven't seen what's beyond this volcano floor that Ed...
No, I don't believe we have. Edge is going to find the rod, which is nice. And if he gets the better trap tile there, I think there's a nice suit of armor as well.
Monoci running into the ghosts yet again. Does get away successfully, though. Some of the, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is actually the hardest hitting enemy in the game. They just luckily only hit you once.
And Edge cleans up those wizards with a single lit 3. That's a good cast. Yeah, those ghosts are no joke.
Ghosts are doing what ghosts do, and they're knocking you left, right, and silly. Mono is back to Sky 4F.
He just wants to know what's past this floor. Is he going to find out?
Is he going to find more man cats? He's going to get unrunnable guards and sentries.
He's got the black shirt. Ew.
He had the black shirt. Alright, if that... Oh, yeah, he's going to reset. I was going to say, if he got good turn order, maybe that Light 3 would have cleared him out just to see what's on that next floor.
I'm still not impressed with just his complete blind rushing. Like, when do you stop and just take a couple fights? Like, you could gain 3-4 levels here so fast.
Mm-hmm. Now, I believe we have seen houses for sale as well, so maybe the strategy that Captain Hindsight would have here is to grab yourself a few houses, go down to Elfland, like you talked about, hit up that first floor water level, just go through all of your Light 3, start spamming your black shirts, and then just use the house, get everything back up and running, go back in. Do that for 5 or 6 levels, and suddenly all these dungeon dives aren't so bad.
Now, Edge on the left just found a flame shield in what's called a better trap chest. So one of the newer devs to join the team, her name's Nicolette, put in a patch that makes it so that chests that are guarded by trap tiles, just a handful of them cherry-picked for their significance, like that one, which you can only get to after defeating that trap tile, is going to give you a slightly better piece of gear. So it just tweaks the shuffling so you don't get something garbage like 10 gold out of a chest that's really hard to fight for. It's not going to give you an incentive item, but it's going to give you something better than totally random. Look at that, a nice gold bracelet for Edge too, just making bank here.
Gold bracelet, and I think more importantly, or at least of equal importance, finds the TNT, and we know that the TNT is going to lead to the canal. We have our ship plus the canal. Edge now has access to the outside world.
If he can find the dwarf cave, which
is correct. I don't think
we have not found the dwarves. My supposition is that it's hiding behind that deadly sky cave, because surely you go into the sea and then up to the sky fortress and then up into the dwarf cellar. I believe that's where it's going to be.
So you take your water boat to the sky to find passage to the air. It'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Monoci is yet again pushing forward, trying to just desperately find out. Maybe if he goes a different route, take a different, maybe go left or up at that 4th floor of sky, and maybe just see if you can get a little bit better RNG. A little bit better luck. But nope, he's going to go right, and he's going to go up, and he's going to run into unrunnable guards and sentries, and they're going to put an end to this.
We shall see. Maybe he'll get some good rolls here. Or maybe the guards will get the good rolls. Oh!
And, hey, he's got one down, but so does the exit caster. So this suddenly, more than likely, is just going to turn into an information dive. I really doubt he gets out of here.
That sentry is scary.
Light 3 should finish it off. Oh, nice roll in Light 3. Does finish it off. There's a couple of levels, but I think it's going to be for nothing because I really don't see him walking all the way out of here.
Well, maybe he turns around right now.
Maybe, but that's quite a trek back to Caneria to get...
No, I think he's just going to keep going. He's going to take his levels. Yeah, he's going to keep going.
Hey, this just in. Rockles have blizzards, so that's fun.
Over on Edge's side, he's found the Asterix room. Now, where is he?
Asterix room, I believe he is deeper into Northwest Castle.
Yes, he must be, because it's got that green tint. That sage green is the color assigned to the Northwest Castle.
So while we're viewing some of the floors we've seen before, can you explain a little bit about the coloring and how that works for an entrance shuffle?
Yeah, so when we started shuffling the entrances and the floors, it became just about impossible to remember where anything was because the floors just seamlessly connect randomly. And so what I did was I made it so that the entrance, say you enter the volcano, it's red normally.
Mhm.
I tint the floors from the volcano entrance down all red where possible. There are some technical limitations that prevent that from being perfect, but for most of the floors you can tint the color palette to match, and a lot of entrances don't have a color palette. All the castles use the same palette. So I just drummed up a few new ones. So for example, Elfland has a nice pink tone, and Elfland's castle has a dark green, and the Northwest castle has a sage green, and Crescent Lake has a pretty green and yellow. And when you first see them, they're arbitrary, but if you play this a lot, you start to get used to them, and it just adds a bit of visual variety to a game that we have seen, so much of over the last 30 years that I think it's been really well accepted.
It definitely throws in the color splash there. I think it maybe it's just me, but I think it kind of works on a subconscious level as well. Your brain kind of remembers, I've been there, and I swear I remember it being red. Okay, let me go check the volcano entrance real quick, and sure enough, 9 times out of 10. It's going to lead you at least towards the area where you need to go. So definitely a nice touch.
Yeah.
Glad I didn't have to play it before you threw that in there.
The towns also look really cool. And it's Tiamat. Okay, well, it might just be time to get out of here. Yeah. Goodbye. So you can mark that on your tracker. Northwest Castle leads to Tiamat.
Leads to Tiamat. No way you can even attempt to take that. Maybe if you had Brack or maybe even Bane on the Black Mage, sure. But we have Vanilla Warmech turned on, so that Bridge of Destiny, I hope chat's got their Bless RNGs ready, because when we do finally tackle that, pretty good chance, hopefully, that we're going to see one of those out in the wild.
Oh, all right. Mono, once again, heading into the Sea Shrine. I think there's a trap tile here that he's going to try and take advantage of.
That, and, I was watching him practice earlier, and at one point he was in go mode just about, and he kind of told himself, you know what, the chances of the item I need being in this next chest not very high. I'm going to skip this area. I'm going to pass up a few chests here. It ended up biting him because the item that he did need to get was in one of the chests that he ended up skipping. He wasn't quite in go mode like he thought, and I think we might be seeing him second guess himself now and think, I did skip a few chests on the walk there because I was low and I was dead, and maybe this is him coming back and saying, okay, what's in those chests on the left-hand side of the room just before the eye dropped down?
Oh, I see. Mono's actually come back to loot this place.
Mm-hmm. Nothing really good in here beside, the black shirt's nice, but other than that, I don't think we saw anything that was really exciting.
That was funny. His party just gradually died off, and he's like, I'll keep going. And then it's 2 unrunnable white Ds, and he's like, I'm going to reset.
Sometimes the game just smacks you a few times, and you feel like you can take it, and just keep saying no.
And the kid's like, how about now? Are you ready to quit yet? Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. That's what just happened to him.
Confirmed, Final Fantasy 1 is the big brother making you cry. So Edgeworth back on the seas here is fighting the Kazokus here. Monoci getting quite a few levels. At some point, you gotta just exit out and save those levels, right? He just continues to wipe and losing them. When do you make that adjustment? And actually, on Monoci's side, I don't think we ever did see the end of Matoya's cave. So it's Shadow pointing out in chat, Matoya's cave has got to lead to something. Dwarf cave possibly, so we can turn in that TNT. Give the canoe so that we can have progression out somewhere else. But Edgeworth is making his way down towards the Marsh Cave, which I believe led straight to, Sky 1?
Yeah, Marsh eventually leads to Bahamut, I think, so...
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have his tail, so Bahamut's not going to have much to offer him, or vice versa.
So we've got Northwest Castle. That leads us over towards Tiamat. Nice find for Edgeworth there.
Yeah, the eye is... But with only spell shuffle, the eye could be quite deadly. But it doesn't have a lot of HP, and Lit 3 takes care of him. Good EXP from the eye, too.
So look at that. I'm just kind of peeking over at the levels. Edgeworth just now hitting level 10. Monoci for a while was flirting with 10 and then, wiped again. So the levels are just about caught up. Monoci, I think, at this point has to have a little bit of a lead, although I don't know by how much.
Man, he just killed a Frost D with a black shirt. I mean, I was going to make a "you're going to have a bad time" joke, but then it worked, so I should just watch and take notes.
So there's level 11s, level 10s here. Monoci not check these chests. He went straight in. There's the cube, so another 5%. Not going to do you too much good right now. I don't think we've even had whiff of the cube block yet, but should we, Edgeworth is going to be able to push through.
Yeah, this is another better trap treasure chest, I think, because you can't get to the top right chest.
Here?
Yeah, you can't get to the top right chest here without...
Oh, you're talking about on the Monoci side, yeah.
Yeah, must not be. I must be mistaken.
So 4 mana cores. Not bad. Poison Stinger, it looks like, coming out. If you can get these down, pretty decent XP. Oh, Stone Poison. So, never mind. Reset.
Yeah, that's not happening. I have to go back for that cube again.
It doesn't look like there's been too much of a favorable step and counter manipulation that they can do here. It looks like they're just going right in after a reset. They're not burning off any encounters.
At this point in the race, we're past a half an hour now. What are you most surprised by, and what do you think is the way you expected?
Most surprised by, I think, obviously for me, has to be levels. The fact that you were given such an awesome wave clearing spell, Light 3 at level 1, and then the game also handed you a few floors right off the bat so that you could make use of that, some of them being 1 floor deep. To me, it almost kind of screams, get levels, and yet they haven't. What I'm not surprised by is just the amount of exploration that they've both done despite the adversity. I think they're both known for kind of being risk takers, for being quick. So they've already spread themselves out. They have a good idea of where things need to be going. So I kind of expected that, but definitely levels. Don't know if you agree with me on that one or not, but that's what I would be going for right now.
Yeah, I am so surprised that they've kept their levels as low as they have, and given just how nasty this has been so far. But here's Mono heading Northwest Castle. We know it's deep and it's full of treasure, and it ends at Tiamat, so he's not going to be able to clear it. And there's this floor he's already done, but the rest he still has to pillage and plunder.
Yeah, it's I think one of the very, very few flaws of Monoci, if I had to kind of put out there, and again, this is somebody who's nowhere near as good talking about it, but Monoci is the type of person that he's not going to let something intimidate him or scare him. You throw an ice cave at him at level 1, he's going to dive it the best he can. He'll even give it a couple of shots. He dove down into Matoya's cave. We found out it's super, super deadly. Gave it multiple tries and then backed out, went to the ice cave. We've seen him in the ice cave 5-6 times already. And I think he's really going to kick himself later, because if he just stuck with it a little bit more, I think maybe some luck kicks in every now and then. I really think he was maybe a floor away from finding dwarves or the canoe, like Shadow Walker was pointing out, in that cave. And had he done that, it would have swung momentum in his favor pretty well. But it looks like didn't want to push through anymore. He was tired of losing in that one. He went to lose somewhere else. And now Edgeworth is starting to make some ground. It looks like Edgeworth is heading up towards Matoya's. And if he gets through, a huge swing for him.
The mystery of Matoya's cave is the last one to solve so far in the early game here.
Shadow Walker pointing out, yes, I believe Edge did a clear of the armory floor. So Monoci finds his TNT, and Edge already has that, and there's the gold bracelet as well. Edge already having, of course, we have the luxury of knowing that progression is all but certain to be here in Matoya's cave, so he's going to find out it's not too friendly, but I think knowing that it's the only place he has left to go is going to give him what he needs to just keep on pushing until he finally does get it. Was that Death Touch or just a really strong hit by that Frost Giant?
135 damage? Yeah, I think.
Oh, no, I believe that was Death Touch. They hit hard, but I think I just saw 2 people go down without any numbers up on screen.
It's pretty much Death Touch any way you slice it. The old Unrunnable Sahag fight, still unrunnable to this day, and it has been for 30 years.
No intentions on looking into whether or not that's fixable, I would imagine, because it's just too good.
Maybe someday.
Shadow says it was the wolves with Death Touch, and that's even scarier because there's lots more of those.
Yeah. The old 1-2 punch of getting ravaged by a frost giant or just instantly killed by a wolf.
Alright, so Edgeworth opting to dig a little bit deeper on this floor than Mono ever did, straight to the exit, and here's why. Ghosts all over this floor, and they hit like trucks. But with everything being loose, could be this chest here.
Nope. And it's a cap.
It's a cap.
All the way up there, fought the ghosts for the baseball cap. Fashionable, but not very good piece of art.
Oh, it's a great looking hat.
Unfortunately, thieves don't wear hats, and Black Mage already has a hat he likes.
Alright, I don't know if we saw Edgeworth dig out this entire floor yet, where Mono's at, the star-shaped room or the asterisk room. Mono is here now. It looks like he is checking. It looks like he is dead.
Swiftly turned to stone. Yeah. With hardly a shot fired.
Pull off the shoes and start counting on my toes the amount of wipes we've seen so far, and we're only in. So I gotta take my hat off to you, take the cap off to you. Just a very, very well generated flag set you've given us here tonight.
Well, they told us to pick it, okay? And this is what they get when you ask the developer to pick the flag set. No fighter, no black belt, no red mage. In Final Fantasy Randomizer, those three classes are generally the best. Fighter and black belt, no question. Mm-hmm. And red mage can get very lucky and be extremely powerful. So I just, out of hand, dismissed all three of them and said, there, what's left? A couple of garbage thieves. You're going to run away. And then just to, give him a sporting chance, a black mage and a white mage for a little balance.
Mancat's returning the favor with light 3. That he quick trip up to Tiamat should he want to do it. Of course he doesn't. He's going to check the vanilla adamant chest here, but he's going to run into rock goals first.
Oh,
Edgeworth.
No! He made it past Sky, and it's a fork in the road with unrunnables. Oh god.
Okay, so progression is here, and it's quite easy to get to. All you have to do is go through one of the hardest sea floors, make your way through one of the longest sky floors. At the end of that, we're not mean and cruel jerks. We're going to give you a split. We're giving you choices here at Final Fantasy Randomizer. You can go left or you can go right. Who knows what's beyond that? Based off what I've seen so far, I got to imagine probably the marsh split.
That would be apropos, right? And then somewhere in there's got to be a loose chest that has... Well, we have the TNT, so maybe at the bottom of all of this somewhere is the dwarf cave.
Gotta be dwarves. Yeah. I think it's dwarf one way, and I'm guessing marsh split the other way.
What's at the end of the marsh split?
Pain. Pain and death.
Just hurt your back as soon as you walk up the stairs. All of the unrunnables. They have gotten really unlucky with unrunnables, too.
Yeah, it couldn't be something nice like an eye. It's got to be the jerks, like the sentries and the guards here. Mono digging through. I think he was hoping that maybe the loose item was... It's like Edge is on the right track. He just, has to make it back to the split and then make the right decision in the split and then also hope that his white mage doesn't die so that he can actually exit out instead of walking it out. So welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer. If you've never seen it before, this is how it goes This is nothing new.
I also realized that it doesn't have to be the dwarf cave with the TNT turn-in. There could be an incentive location that has a canoe. That could get you to, Ice Cave, Volcano, Crescent Lake entrance. So, no guarantees the dwarf cave is down here.
Very well could. This could easily turn out to be one of the at the end of this fork here, and you're just going to get it from a dragon chest somewhere. But no, it's another seafloor.
Full of loose chests. That is like one of the hardest sea floors. The Sharknado floor has tons of trap chests.
The longer this goes on, the more it's really starting to become a little bit confusing why somebody hasn't stopped to make an XP stand.
Yeah, in particular, I like the Northwest Castle. If you could drum up some cash and get some houses, because the first floor of the Northwest Castle was the armory room, which has lots of trap tiles. Artie Platypus lets us know the coral sword has been found, the best thief weapon. If only that was really going to matter. I want it to matter, but we'll see.
So we know what's right. Left is a little bit more favorable. Volcano floors here.
Unrunnable Whiz Ogres. Now all these things have to have is nuke.
And that's right, because we do have the skills and spells shuffled, and we know that they cast spells originally, we know they're going to have something now. It just depends on what they have. So far it's been a little bit favorable. They're confused, they're hitting themselves, they're dizzy, spinning endlessly, as Will Cleosis likes to say. He does take him out. Edgeworth
Coral Sword carves one up. I'll eat my words. Oh, the Q block.
Edgeworth has the cube, right? Yes, he does.
Okay. That's exciting.
And we get a trap tile here as well.
This is just a spectacular dungeon.
All right, our tracker pointing out that she is clicking all of the buttons. It's just going a little right, so forgive that if you would here as we turn our attention towards Ed, who after being stoned multiple times has made sure to stock up on plenty of softs and finds a rather unappealing trap tile there.
And then an earth floor.
Oh, this just keeps going and going. It's the Energizer Bunny of dungeons.
I am so terrified. Like, if I was him, I would be shaking in my chair, sweating profusely. Like, there is so much to lose if you, like, suffer a horrible wipe here. And there's just no end to this madness.
The one thing that they have going for them, right? Because at this point, everything's just looking so doom and gloom. You've got to look for bright spots. It's all but guaranteed that these aren't going to lead to dead ends. Something's at the end of these if you can make it there. Whether or not it's something you want, who knows? There's the bottle, and we do know where Onrak is. That gives us another option. No, it doesn't, because we haven't found Gaia yet.
Yeah. Check that.
Rewind.
If we found Gaia, we could get the Oxyel, and we know where Onrak is to then use the Oxyel. That fetch quest will be vanilla.
Will be. Monoci has figured it out. He knows. Levels not so good, but what can you do here? Water floor, second floor down. It is a little bit of a long Bahamut bridge there to get here, but if he chose to make a stand, here's a floor where he could put that light 3 to use and gain a few levels here and try to catch up to Edge.
One nice thing about just shuffling the skills and spells is that a lot of the attacky enemies here in the Earth Cave are not that dangerous, which is a refreshing change from just absolutely insane Spectre and Geist fights.
Oh, sure. Edgeworth is about the level that you would normally be towards the Earth Cave, so this in and of itself not too scary. Monoci running into unrunnable sentries, not what he wants to see, especially when they eat 300 damage and still live.
Yeah, the good news is that black shirt that they both found is actually being pretty handy in this early game here, where they just absolutely have to fight like Trojans for every shred of EXP and treasure they can find with this really weak party. I think this is working exactly as I intended. You got a black mage with magic, powerful magic. You got, there's the dwarf cave. We found it at the top of the mountain, floating in the sky beyond the cube teleport. The underground tunnels of the dwarves.
Well, they're living up to their names. They are buried deep, deep, deep up in the air and also down in the ground at the same time. We don't have a key yet, so we can't go digging for chests. But Edgeworth, I think the real MVP of the game so far, was able to get here with his white mage alive. So he has exit. Here it is. There's the spell. Here's what it does. Let's rewind and think about it. There it is.
Oh, so that must feel good. But you know, the truly scary thing is that all that did was unlock a ton more entrances.
And he still has that other fork to go down as well. So he's not done with his cave. To come back here at some point, more than likely.
And don't forget, you can actually get to Crescent Lake with the ship too. So that's yet another entrance. And he did grab the bottle, right? So if Crescent Lake turns out to be Gaia, he could have to go there, back to Onrak. Oh god, it just never ends. But
and again,
the canoe and the floater.
It's gonna be that nice. I think they're going to get Melmond.
No, before this match started, ladies and gentlemen, in the back room as we're preparing the broadcast, Fiesel comes in there and he says, "So, how long is this race going to take?" And neither one of us was too keen to throw out an answer. So I think you're going to get a pretty good bit of entertainment for your money tonight.
You almost wanted to give Fiesel one of those cable guy answers. Anywhere between 12 to 43 hours. Somewhere in there it'll get done, I promise. The problem with this, though, of course, Elastoid was nice enough to help us kind of test out these flag sets, did a run or two. I did a run or two of this with these exact same party members. We actually did it with a little bit harder flags. We, believe it or not, these are not the original flags we came up with. These are kind of dialed back a little bit in the interest of time saving. But yet we were able to get those practice runs down in about 2 hours. Monoci ran one earlier today, got in, I think, about 2 hours, 5 minutes. So everything was looking good. And then, of course, here comes prime time, and everything's off the rails. We're almost an hour in. We're just now making it out of the inner sea here. There's Fade at level 5 and Invis 2 at the same level.
That's good stuff.
Monoci finds the loot.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that loot was in the exact same spot of his practice run today as well.
You cannot use a cabin here.
Ice 3, Warp being picked up by Edgeworth. Don't know if he was able to actually buy that, though.
Was it in the vanilla spot where you need promotion to get it?
It was 4, and Monoci finds the bonk in Sharknado room in the better trap tile chest. So loot and bonk. I don't know that Edgeworth checked that room.
No, he didn't go to the Sharknado side. So we still don't know what's down there. Nitz's party perishes, Mono dies.
So Sharknado loaded for sure. It's going to give you that extra 5%. Of course, the loot is absolutely mandatory for beating the game. We have regular Topher. It is not short Topher tonight. So Monoci's going to go right back in there. He's going to find that power bonk. I don't know if he's going to take that fight to get it again or if he's going to come back later when he has levels. But sooner or later, you're going to find your way back there. And then we get to see what's behind that staircase because Edgeworth saw that floor and immediately left.
Ah, and he's found the mermaids and the Zeus gauntlet right off the bat.
This is the floor I think both runners were hoping to see really, really early. We're almost an hour in, finally finding it. Lots of treasure chests here. It is not an incentivized location, but with just the density of chests, there's a good chance they're going to find something good here.
Some cash, soft, a cabin. Nothing yet.
Long walk for absolutely nothing. Monoci back down for attempt number 37. Checking out chests that I believe he's already seen before. Doesn't look like he's got a good working memory tonight of which ones have been worth going out of your way for. Picking up just a heal in that chest there. And Edgeworth not getting much from the mermaids they're holding out tonight.
And that's pretty bad. Just a pile of cash.
And more cash there as well. So Monoci has finally made this. He's going to make his way left this time. He's going to find the dwarves. Now, can he get to the dwarves with the white mage?
Does he have the cube and the TNT?
He definitely has the TNT. And I believe he was the first to get the cube, but that could have been before one of his handful of wipes. So I'm not entirely sure.
That would be bad news. But maybe he'll remember where it is. But it would be very frustrating to get there and not have it.
Okay, Light 3 getting put to use for Monoci. I didn't see if that was unrunnable or not, but he's starting to pick up some of those levels, 12, 13.
Yeah, once you rise above and approach the teens and get up there towards 20, no cube.
He doesn't have the cube. He knows where it's at, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he does know where it is, though, so you can go there, you can get some levels. At this point, you got to say, okay, maybe I'm not winning, but I can do the slow and steady approach now, Count on Topher being hard, because Topher seems like a distant dream when you don't have an orb lit, but it's still a factor, and you can think about it way ahead of time if you want.
And that's one of the things that we talked about at the beginning with this party. I mean, they're weak early, they're weak in the middle game, and they're really weak end game unless you can supplement them with lots and lots of levels, which, I mean, you and I both said we would have done that a little bit earlier than they're doing. But should Monoci get that feeling in the back of his mind, like, oh, surely Edgeworth has gotten lucky somewhere. He made that dive, and he didn't take the wipe that I took.
He's gonna dance with 4 vampires and say goodbye to 4 vampires.
So that's gonna be a lot of XP. Yeah. So Edgeworth gaining those levels, I think Monoci's only chance is to do what you talked about, just bunker down, get some levels, and just make sure that when you go into Topher, you are fully equipped and you have all the levels you could ever hope for.
He's going to clean out the less than, greater than room, and all loose chests could have any progression item here.
Just a bunch of money. No, there's the second katana that pays off.
That's not bad, you know.
It's interesting. Usually when you've got so many loose, they tend more often than not to kind of stack up. You'll find 2, 3, 4 of them in quick succession, but tonight it's been spread out very, very well. Just a lot of nothing everywhere you go.
Just a whole lot of garbage out there.
Chimera on the screen. Edgeworth doesn't like it. He goes right back in. Ghosts are doing what ghosts do and knocking Monoci's characters down to one knee. But nobody dies. He still has everyone alive. He's going to heal up and continue to dig. Name of the game for him is Finding the Cube. Cube leads to progression. So does Edgeworth go back in for the katana? He doesn't. Oh, hey, look, another C4.
Yeah, those things seem to have been just popping up left, right, and center. You know, the good news is it means you won't run into them later. Whatever dungeons are holding all of the rest of the fiends, they can't be very long. We've had so many massive dungeons already.
Everything seems to be very, very front-loaded, so it's almost one of those matches where the moment Edgeworth gets his canoe and his floater, you're going to see 3, 4 orbs lit in very, very quick succession. I think he's going to fly through. We could still pull this in under 2 hours, but it's going to take some real moving here in the next 5-10 minutes from either of the runners here. Really hoping to see that canoe.
Zeus Conley just feels great when you got that Sahag party. Just like, here fellas, check this thing out. Yeah, now he's starting to get into the groove here, that mid-game groove when your party has actually got some survivabilities, some weapons. Oh, Marsh Cave, incentivized. We're looking for canoe. He's looking for the canoe. He's looking for the floater.
So Monoci, if chat's correct here, Monoci needs to find that cube, and the cube, unfortunately, is across the map in the Marsh Cave. And he is currently in Matoya's cave. Now he's going to beeline, he's going to pick up his loot. Does he also go in and try to get this power glove again?
Or does he try to make it to the end of this floor to see what's after it? Because that intel is so helpful in this party. Yeah, he had a second thought. He wants to know what's further down. Because as far as he knows, it could be the dwarf cave. You know, he needs to find out if it's there. We know it's not, which is a shame for him, but he's got to find out.
Now, again, it could lead, well, doesn't really lead to what he was looking for here. Find Astos, the king. That's definitely not somebody else.
No, now he's going to go get the cube. He needs it. Aha! And Edge digs out the canoe.
That's huge.
Big thing. Now he has access to almost everything except for the Lefane entrance and Gaia.
Yep, we do not have extended open progression on, but we do have open progression. So we have ports up near Onrak. We don't have a chime yet, so we can't go into to the Mirage Tower, but if we did, we could port there as well. So now he's got access over to the lower right corner.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to sail down now to the Crescent Lake, where you vanilla get the canoe. See what town is there. Could well be Crescent Lake. You get something from the canoe sage. That'd be my next stop. You could head up to Onrak too, see what town that is, and go to the waterfall as well.
You could, yeah. You got the two there. We also, I don't believe, have seen vendor item yet, and it's quite possible it could be a vanilla location.
The vendor item could be the floater too.
Yep. Which
would be nice. Save you some time. Just buy that thing over here in Crescent Lake and head down and get your airship. That would put a smile on his face.
So Edgeworth doing what you said you would do, makes his way down towards Crescent. We're going to find out what city actually... No, it's not Melman. They're really hoping for it being Vanilla Crescent Lake so you can get that free item from the sages. That canoe makes quick work of that river, and it's Provoca.
You get a free item from Bicky.
Free item for Bicky, and I think more importantly, Fizzlebeef was pointing this out in chat. Look at that magic. Cure 4 on the White Mage. Yeah. Yes, please.
Very nice.
And Nuke at level 2.
And Temper. Oh, that's just...
The lead grows.
Puts a smile on the Light Warrior's face. This lead is going to blow wide open now, especially if Bicky or the item shop here has the floater.
Mm-hmm. I think that just raises the value insanely of the tail now. With Nuke and, more importantly, Temper being level 2, those ninjas, if you can class change, are going to be able to pick those up. That is huge. So Monoci, a little bit, I don't know if he's confused. I don't know if he didn't take good notes here, but if chat's correct and Marsh Cave holds the cube, then unfortunately he's on the wrong track. I could have sworn, though, that the cube was... I thought it was possibly here. There's the tail.
Yeah, now let's check the item shop. Oh, baby. That's the stuff.
Well, I told you, it could very well in the next 5 to 10 minutes kind of spiral out of control, and boy, has it. Edgeworth is loaded now.
You know, a minute ago, this was like a hopeless dungeon, and gold bracelets for sale, and he's got so much money. Pro rings. Oh, that's on the selling side. Excuse me.
Yeah, looks like it. But I mean, the gold bracelet alone. He picked one up.
Yeah.
Now he's got some more to go around here. Man, this lead, Monoci has got to get something going here. Edgeworth, if he doesn't find adversity, this one's all but over. Yeah, he knows where Bahamut is. He's about to have the airship. He's going to class change well before everything. Okay, did Monoci pick up his cube? It looks like he's making his way back towards Victoria.
I didn't see it.
No, he's heading over towards Provoca. Is this a pop grind? Is he fine? I don't know that you would do a pop grind when you have access to seafloors with Light 3. Is that what's going on
I
here?
was wondering if he was gonna zoom right over to the Marsh Cave.
Houses. Okay, maybe this is his way of finally deciding, you know what, level for me.
And the much maligned thieves are about to become katana-wielding, nuke-casting masters of death.
So what we thought was a handicap is, in this seed at least, looking like the game was pretty favorable. Throwing out 2 katanas early, throwing out Nuke, throwing out Temper, throwing out, I would say, accessible tail and floater. It just took a while to get to it, but yeah, suddenly this party's not so weak anymore, huh?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Monoci85 is doing his best, but just not sniffing anywhere near that cube at the moment.
Time to do some housekeeping. Oh, he's only got one of the katanas because he perished after finding the second one, but...
It wiped out, but then again, this is kind of one of those parties. Sure, it's fun to throw a Mazmoon on one of your mages, but I think finding just one katana, maybe throw the Mazmoon if you find it, your other ninja there. I don't know that it's worth going back, especially since there was nothing really else in the greater than less than room. Pretty long trip.
Just passing out the gear. That feels so good. Got the black shirt on the black wizard now, so he's got the ice resist there. Pass the gold bracelet over to the white wizard. You got flame shield on one ninja, ice armor on the other. It just all clicks into place like Legos. Now he's ready to kick some butt.
Monoci thought he knew where he was going. Picks up an opal gauntlet. It's not going to do him too good here. So, and here comes Edgeworth. You talked about it. There's the nuke ninjas getting their spells. They are loaded, lock, stock, ready to go.
And Temper for good measure. It's too bad they're actually at the same level.
Yeah, you definitely would like to see it spread around, but
he tried to do that Crescent Lake trick where you cast Exit to get out of Crescent Lake and then go back in to quickly run into the inn, but he was actually in Provoca, where he was closer to the inn before he cast Exit. I thought that was kind of funny. So then he tried to play it cool and just leave right away. Nice try.
Yeah, we saw what happened. Everyone knows what you did. Edgeworth finds Ordeals, but Ordeals is incentivized. So interesting that he didn't choose to dive that just yet. He definitely has the gear for it. He's got the levels, I think, to make a pass through, but maybe just making a mental note and he'll come back.
Feed the Titan. Quickly grab these 4 chests. There's no real need to check what the other side is. It could save you the trouble of flying there and wasting some time, I suppose. But with the airship, there's nothing it'll take you to that you couldn't just fly to at this point.
So again, Titan's Trove, not an incentivized location, but there are chests. And in this flag set, anything could be anywhere, such as a Vorpal. Edgeworth's not going to care about that Vorpal. You're probably going to see him throw that into the volcano as soon as he gets
he popped it on there. It's better than the ice sword.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best swords in the game, some might say.
Yeah, it's got the same crit as the katana, but less power. So, and he knows where the other katana is. So if he wants to replace it, he will. But in the meantime, he's going to go chop Saki with the massive crit weapons. This is going to be a fun party to watch if he can get a handle on something.
And we do have shuffled pillars here, so you're not going to be able to take just the standard route. This is kind of par for the course. I think most of our races shuffle these here. Otherwise, this place kind of becomes a bit trivial, but Edgeworth makes it no problem. So didn't matter whatsoever that they were shuffled. He was able to did use the warp trick at least once there. And that's just Edgeworth. He's just really, really methodical, very smart about how he approaches some of these tasks and makes very, very quick work out of one of, 3 incentivized locations here that we have, besides the main NPCs?
Just about everything after Crescent Lake turned out to be Provoca has played itself. Honestly, he just made the right moves there. That was a very straightforward thing to do. Get those items, get all that stuff done right away, get your nuke bought and paid for and equipped on there. So I wouldn't say that was mind-blowing or anything, but he managed to get through that beginning by finding all those progression items and keeping them, unlike Mono, which lost the cube when he perished and then hasn't basically forgot where it was and is now stuck way in the past.
Yep. And just like Edgeworth, once Mono does get the cube and puts everything together, he's going to be able to quickly make up the ground that Edgeworth has just flown through. There's the Thor hammer as well. So now we've got 3 casting items for Edgeworth, and in a party like this, that's phenomenal. If you don't have to waste spell charges when you're going down into Topher, there's Defense Sword as well. That's going to help out. It's going to save you a lot of spell charges here. Not a very good trap tile, though. Definitely not one I would grind. So Monoci, find the cube, get yourself through. You'll be able to catch up pretty quickly. He can't do anything here. I don't think he's got... Yeah, doesn't have the crown. I don't know what he was doing there.
Oh, he just about lost a bit of time. Oh, no! Nasty manticores, man. Just when you think that the stone poison isn't bad enough, they get you with the crack.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Hey, he lost a whole ton of time, and that's going to help Mono, but it's not going to help him until he can get his hands on that cube. That's what he really needs.
His back's definitely against the wall. Monoci trying to figure out where that cube is. He's I had to compare. He's the San Diego Fleet of baseball teams here, but they can make comebacks surely. Got a favorable matchup going on here this weekend. Just like he has a favorable matchup here against Edgeworth. Until about 20 minutes ago, Edgeworth just kind of took away with the lead here. Does take a wipe, but knows the pillars, makes his way right through. He knows the chest he needs to pick up. It's all Edge at this point. There's really nothing that's going to hold him back because he can at will choose a spot to grind and then kind of go from there.
And he's just going to exit right out. No thanks. No mana cores for me.
So where to now, Edgeworth? Where you got lots of entrances. You can find out quickly where some of these other fiends are hiding. We've only seen one so far. If I remember correctly, we've seen where Tiamat was at Northwest Castle.
And the Sarda's entrance leaves us into second floor of Earth. There's 6 chests here behind some trap tiles at the bottom. Gotta clean them all out because we're still looking for some progression.
Progression will come here. I think Edgeworth's probably going to run into a room that's got 2 to 3 key items. That's typically how this ends up working out, to where you can save yourself from diving other locations. Perhaps we might not even see what's behind Waterfall. Could be one of those matches where everything just gets kind of thrown at you all at once. But we'll find out. Monoci is back. Does Monoci have his cube? Is he just wishful thinking that the trap tile here is going to be good?
I'm not sure.
A thief. I don't see cube lit up on the tracker, and we've got Moist Mogwai as our one of the best in the biz. So if it's not lit up, I don't think he has it.
No, he got out of there. Maybe he was just making sure it was the cube block. I'm not sure. He needs to go get that cube, and he knows it. So I think he's going to go try and find it because I know he had it. I think it was on the right-hand side of the asterisk room of this guy, which I don't remember where that was, but we're being told it's Marsh Entrance.
Yeah, I think Marsh Entrance, the very first floor of Marsh Entrance was, if I'm remembering this correctly, it was Sky 1. It's where the cube normally ports you to. And it's the original Banesword location, but the room to the right, I believe, is where the Nochi went in there, but he was such low level that he just skipped the chest. He just wanted to see what was deeper. And I think that cost him, because in his mind, he's kind of already crossed that area off. Like, no, I've already checked Marsh Cave. I know it's not there. Well, it is. It is because you skip chests along the way, and you just can't do that when everything's loose like this.
Now he's second guessing, did I actually check everything in ice? And I think he actually did check everything in ice, so this is going to be in vain. I know he definitely checked the left side. Yeah, this is what confusion looks like.
Oh, he's checked everything in here. He absolutely has. So you can really tell, because now he's at the point to where you're starting to go, okay, I know I've been, but did I really check every chest? He's gone through Matoya's cave multiple times now. He knows he's checked everything in Matoya's cave. It's definitely locked behind the cube. But where did he see that cube?
And Edge has found Carrie's floor. This is definitely a better trap tile chest.
Oh.
If it's incentivized, oh yeah, we've got this is a death. Oh, there's the Death Touch Wolves.
Death Touch Wolves, and you're gonna have to. Well, did he go back and pick up Warp? Better yet, can he even? No, he can't use Warp. Warp was level 5, so you gotta get. Not once, but twice, because that was the Agma trap tile.
Well, no sooner did we say how great he was doing and how fast he was flying, and he's just been murdered by some brutal encounters twice in a row. So he's lost a little bit of time between both of those.
A little bit. Monoci has reached the end of the ice cave here. He knows it's not chest. So now where? Now you start to kind of cross it off. He's at least making his way in the right direction. He's making his way south. He started going towards Elfland Castle. Now he's going to make his way over towards, hopefully, Marsh Cave. I think he knows he had to have put on a tracker that Northwest Castle was Tiamat. So it's got to be a Marsh Cave dive here, and it's going to be the first floor. He's going to get it immediately.
And I mean, good for him for sticking with it, because this can be maddening. As someone who is not super great at this game, but often has to play through it to test things and so on, sometimes I get so frustrated that I want to quit, but you have to stick with it because still anything can happen. Edge hasn't even lit an orb yet. Yeah, he has a big lead right now, but it can vanish if he keeps wiping.
Oh, yeah. Very, very easily. I think the seed has kind of laid itself out. Not going to have too much trouble, at least in the spell side of things. Having Nuke on potentially 3 characters, very, very well sought after. We haven't seen the white shirt yet, I don't believe, but we have seen Invis 2, so you're starting to build up some of the defensive buffs. You've got Cure 4. Everything's looking pretty good. Edgeworth, though, is this chest? There's the cube. Monoci finds it. This isn't incentivized, this chest here. So Edgeworth, I wonder how many more times he tries at this to see what the item is. I guess Nuke's going to clear that out. We're going to find out what the next trap tile is, but whether it's good or not, I think he might just exit out rather than take that Frostwolf fight again.
Oh,
it's the God trap tile.
Now there's a trap tile you can set your watch to. The third eye grind. That can be 2 or 3 eyes, and you can't beat it for how easy it is and how much EXP you get. Now, their scripts aren't shuffled, so they're going to have some kind of spells. I don't know how bad they are, and there's the crown.
And it is a mandatory chest. You're going to have to go there. So it pays off. So not only does he pick up the extra %, but that's going to lead to another 15% XP on top of that. And it's one of the mandatory items that you have to have.
Yeah, so that bodes well for Mono because he will find it. And so, I mean, this opportunity will present itself to him too. Although I do see Edge going to probably ride this pony for a while. I would take this into the 30s for all you know, right? You're going to need a high-level party. Why not?
Yeah, the The only thing that might make me not do it right now is finding the exact item he just found, the crown, because the crown leads to so many other items. It's going to build upon that extra 5% XP per key item. Maybe you just make a note of this and come back later. Got that built up. I would take this to about 24, 25, and then make a note to come back.
Get the nuke charges, right? Get all the charges. So level 15, 17, 19, 21, that'd be a decent enough place to stop, because then you've got all your nuke charges ready to happen.
Now that's going to be interesting. That's not an incentivized chest. So that was one of the actual loose items that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And it was guarded by possibly the most deadly fight we've seen. So does Monoci wipe to that fight and say it's one chest, it's not worth it?
I hope not, because he's kind of been learning this lesson. And it's not that far down. I don't know. Well, I mean, we could speculate what he's going to do. I hope he checks it.
Here's what he is going to do in the meantime, though. He's going to finally get some progression. This dungeon's not as scary as it used to be, although as I say that, it takes out one of his thieves, but he should be able to make it through, and man, I really hope he makes it through with the white mage and have that quick exit, because otherwise, what's worse than coming through here is coming through here twice, once in, once out.
Going through there, losing the white mage to the end, sticking to it, getting to the dwarf cave, getting the canal, and then trying to run all the way out and dying steps from the entrance on your way out. That would be the worst.
It feels like how this seed's going to play out for Monoci, though. So really, really hoping he does get that white mage. Edgeworth doing exactly what you talked about, picking up quite a few levels here. He is starting to look really, really good as far as that party goes.
Yeah, $20 says he doesn't even touch the other trapdoor on the way out. He just casts exit when he's had enough.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Unless that white mage dies, and then he'll have no choice. But he does not want to run into a six-pack of frost wolves again.
So did he not get warp after he got promoted? Did he not go back for it, I guess?
I don't think he bought it at the time. Even if he did, he couldn't have used it.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have bought it at the time because I think it was promotion locked.
No, he definitely hasn't gone back to buy it since he's class changed. Edge did find the second katana, but he wiped shortly after. And unfortunately, there just wasn't anything else. Did not make the trip back down. And honestly, I don't think he's going to care too much. He's got one of the katanas. He's got in the hands of a better character, I would say of equal value, but with the ninja having access to the katana, the moment he finds something like Mazmoon, or heck, he might even just stick with the Vorpal for now. I think he's fine, and he's not going to go back.
Yeah, he's got level 24. He's definitely got all his nuke charges. We're going to see how far he goes. This
could be 30. And it could just be the result of all these early wipes we found where he's, what, I don't care about the extra 5-10% that those key items give me. I'm here now. We're just going to get this done right now.
All right, Mono's at the fork in the road. He knows that right leads to ruin. He does not know what's past the Q block. He's going to be pretty pleased to find the dwarves because he has been holding on to this tightly wrapped stack of trinitrotoluene for far longer than anyone is comfortable with. And he's just going to hand it off to that insane dwarf and be done with it.
Okay, he is down a thief, and unfortunately without any life or can't get that up. Getting anybody. He is turned on. But here he is. He's at the cube lock. He finally has the cube in hand. And he's going to find out real quick that it's the dwarves. And it looks like he's going to do it with the white mage intact after this floor.
Yeah, this floor proved to be not that hard. But he does have to get through it. And it had the bottle in it, so he can't cheese it either. Otherwise, he's going to be in a world of trouble.
Unless the on-rack dungeon turns out to be pointless. In which case, he could just luck out.
That's true. But let's be honest. How this seed is going, that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, I don't think
just going to be
a one.
Yeah. No, it's going to be right to start his cave, and he's just going to be like, "Here, take this Mazmoon."
Okay, so Monoci is going to find his bottle here in. Edgeworth is going to try his luck. I say try with these levels here. He's more than likely going to take out Carrie, especially with the wizard staff casting Confuse.
Hey, a fire.
That's appropriate. So Monoci85 making his way through packs of zombies and geists here. Can't imagine he's going to skip the lower left, although we have the benefit of knowing as commentators that I don't think there's anything there worthwhile, but you just can't pass it up.
No, that would be a mistake. Oh, maybe you can with only 2 party members alive.
Yeah, this is looking real dicey.
At least find out what's in them, right? So you can skip them later.
Man, he is so close to being able to just get out of here. Oh, he's wishing the guillotine flag was turned on there.
Oh my stars. These guys are really weak right now, which is pretty good news. He's got away from that.
He's away. Quick nuke takes out Carrie. Carrie rolling low health.
That white mage is not very good at running away. I would be tempted to throw out a harm against those weak undead packs. But he makes it.
He is through. He's got the white mage. He's going to get it out. Just like you said, an hour and 15 in, we've got it, right? Kind of on par with what we thought would happen.
We wanted a nice, good, hearty challenge, and I think that's exactly what we're getting. Edge has, of course, carved out a large lead at this point. And Monoci's going to need some luck to catch him. But he's in a good place now. If he does things by the book, sails over to Melman, and then sails to Crescent Lake, he'll be in good shape.
And of course, Edge is just making all the right moves. Absolutely the right play, picking up not only nuke and temper, but being able to buy the floater to pick up. What was it that we got from Vicky? Was it the defense sword? It was something. Tail. So yeah, definitely the right move. So Monoci outthinks himself. Here we found TOF.
Time to kill Garland and save the princess.
And we know where Canary Castle is as well, so that's another item we can pick up.
And these loose chests could have anything. Still looking for the loot? Have to check every single one of them.
Now Monoci knows where the loot is. It's in Sharknado room. Edgeworth didn't check that, and he's going to have to double back. Does he remember that he didn't check the right side split into Sharknado?
Edge is a vet. I'm saying he's got it on his to-do list.
We shall see. Edgeworth about to pick up 2 chests here. A great axe and an iron armor. Nothing too good here, but more importantly, found TOF. You're going to need that for later. Rescue the princess. That's another key item you're going to pick up. Exploration is
Fade and Invis too on Mono's side. Edge is testing the fact that those vanilla Cardia Isles are vanilla. Don't trust me. I just programmed this a couple weeks ago, but they are. So those 2 are now always going to be vanilla in Entrance Shuffle because it's really lame to find them at the bottom of a giant dungeon. And it's much nicer to just save yourself the trouble.
Learning something new every day. And there's the waterfall.
That's worth a check. We've got an incentive location here.
Plus a pretty good handful of chests as well. Fizzlebeef, yes, loot was in Sharknado room. So very, very important room. Monoci knows that. Edgeworth doesn't. He saw that floor and left. He went to the left side split, which of course turned out to lead to the dwarves and progression. But he's going to have to remember to come back. That could be one of his stumbling blocks.
Well, it is if he forgets about it. But the good news is, not only that, he has the crown, too. So if he grabs it on his way down, the next thing below it is Northwest Castle, and he'll be able to give the crown back to the kindly old king.
Yep. Okay, so we have Edgeworth making his way through. Check. Greater than, less than. Of course, we've said it time and time again. You can't afford not to. Only going to pick up a katana. We'll see if he's able to walk it out, or if he's going to take a wipe and just skip past like Edgeworth did.
I just love how, like, the main quests in this flag set are side quests. And the side quests are the main quests. And just how upside down this whole game has felt. And I hope that the runners are enjoying playing it as much as I am watching it, but I just know that's not true.
I think Edge might have finally let out a breath about 10 minutes ago. Up until then, he was probably holding it. Monoci is probably getting ready to do so. So They're feeling a little bit better now, but that first hour was absolutely just upside down. Man, everything has the ability to turn stone, it seems.
Yeah, it must be on the Medusa script. And there's the slab in a loose chest.
There's one of our loose
the
items.
white
The
shirt.
white shirt is a nice pickup.
It's a perfectly good
not
item.
so bad.
The best caster items being incentivized, and that's nice too, because it gives meaning to hunting down those incentives, even though they're not going to be progression.
I particularly like the fact that you did not turn on item.
Yeah, that needs a little refinement. It can make the game too easy, but it is fun to play with for sure.
A little bit. So Edgeworth finds the third fiend. He's going to try for his second orb here. He's already got Carrie knocked out. Now we're going to try for Lich. This shouldn't be too big of an issue, especially with these levels. So you're about to see a 2-orb lead. Monoci, though, finds the incentivized marsh cave here, and I believe this is where we got the canoe, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright, time for Edge to take on Vanilla Lich 1.
Yeah, and a whopping 67 from the Vorpal.
170 from Fade, a little nuke, 165, it's all over. Typical for Lich 1.
So there you go. We talked about it. The slow going at the beginning, all those dungeons be so deep and expansive, you kind of knew that there just weren't too many floors left for the game to pass around. So lighting the first orb at 115, lighting the second at 122, you start to see how this game's going to pick up speed for Edgeworth here, and he could easily run away with a but.
Mono's got the canoe now. And it's pumpkin season in Elfland as we check out the magic.
I think this might be, and I can't believe that I'm just now seeing it. This might be the first time I've ever seen Elfland land at Gaia, because I don't recall ever seeing Elfland like we're seeing.
Until very recently, if one town landed at the location of another, it didn't get tinted. It just stayed the town color. But by popular demand, towns will now be tinted if they're not in their vanilla locations. And even if they are, as a matter of fact, just if you're doing town shuffle, just for the visual flair.
I like it. Level 4 Bane is a nice pickup. I don't believe we've rack yet. Bane gives us our ability, maybe, insta-kill Tiamat, who we know where she is located at Northwest Castle, I believe, after, a handful, 5-6 floors at least.
Edge picks up A-Rub, which is interesting tactical move. He's got no ribbons. And A-Rub gives you sweet death protection, status protection, I think, and what is it, poison stone protection?
I believe so. It just so happens to be an AoE spell as well. So
yeah, it's not bad if you don't have any of that stuff. That's pretty good.
I like it. Edgeworth is going to check out, looks like Onrak coming up.
Yeah, he's going to skip the caravan because he already found the vendor item, so he doesn't really need to worry about the caravan anymore.
Nope. Looks like he's saving. There we go. He's saving right at the split. He's going to check out town.
Not many places left. This is going to be Gaia.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Crescent Lake.
Crescent Lake.
Looks like Lafane is going to be Gaia, so we're going to have to head out there at some point.
Yeah, you're going to have to track. Well, potentially. Because, again, that's just one single entrance that the Oxtail gives you access.
That's true. Absolutely true.
But then again, we have yet to see Kraken, and Kraken could easily be just one floor down from the Sea Shrine or from Onrak, and wouldn't that be appropriate?
Yeah, that one entrance, if it is any piece of a quest chain, if it's Matoya's Cave or Elfland Castle, just one little offshoot thing that you just have to pop into for a second, you need to go there. All right. Old men stretching their knees. Now they've been standing still for 30 years. Now they are so exhausted.
They are the grandpa. Oh, ribbon. There it is. Beautiful. I was going to say they are the grandpa finally getting out of bed, stretching legs, but holding onto a ribbon. Definitely a nice payoff. That looks to be one of our loose ribbons. I don't believe that's going to be one of the picked up because that's not an incentivized location. Or is it? Main NPC? No. Edgeworth saving just outside Waterfall, which is Earth 1, and he is skipping chest. No, he's not skipping chest. That's a smart move.
And Mono gets to a lovely, bright forest green Provoca. We'll see if he has a good time here that Edge once did. Little Cure 4, little nuke, get the tail, get the floater. It's just beautiful. He picks up Lamp.
That might be a little bit of fan service from Monoci, just to make everyone a little more entertained.
Lamp is pretty OP. I think we're going to nerf it in an upcoming patch.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm still trying to get the Sun Sword to cast Lamp in battle. I think it just makes too much sense not to do it.
All right, we've had a request from chat for a full recap, including an exhaustive manifest of every dungeon's sequence of floors. And to that I say, we shall sum it up.
We will do our best.
So things got off to a pretty good start in that the king of Canary Castle was available at the Dwarf Cave to give off the ship pretty early on to this forced party of 2 thieves, Black Mage, White Mage. We had level 1 Lit 3 and level 1 Exit, so the magic looked like it was going to be off to a great start. But then things got really sour, and there were some massively hard dungeons, specifically a mandatory Matoya's Cave entrance that weaved its way through the Sea Shrine and the Sky Palace, ultimately ending up in the Dwarf Cave, which was cube-locked by a cube that you had to get from the Marsh Cave entrance. That finally gave you the canal and access to the rest of the world, which is when the game really blew open, because by sailing to the Melmond entrance and the Crescent Lake entrance, we were able to subsequently get things like Fade and Nuke and the Floater and the Tail, and then things have blown wide open. Monoci's right in the middle of that. He's just about to get his Floater and Tail, or maybe he just did. Edge, on the other hand, has been racing around with his Nuke and katana-wielding ninjas, and he's collecting large orbs now.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good recap. I don't think I could have done it any better myself. Basically, to wrap it up in a nutshell, TLDR of this one is everything's broken, and Edgeworth and Monoci are just trying their best to put the pieces back together. Edgeworth hitting his stride a little bit quicker than Monoci, but here's Monoci making up some of that ground. He's got some of those items that Edgeworth was able to kind of carve himself out with. But 2 orbs down, Edge is still pushing through. I don't think he's found any adversity yet. It's going to take something pretty big to hold Edgeworth from taking this one here. Monoci has got to make all the right moves going forward if he has any chance.
Yeah, Edge established a winning advantage by being very patient in the early game. Well, by his standards. He wiped almost as many times as Mono did, but when he found progression items, he kept them, he got out of there, and he saved. Mono lost something like 20 minutes of time, give or take, to Edge, because he wiped after getting the cube, forgot about it, had to zigzag back and forth across the inner sea looking for it, and in all that time, Edge was just off gallivanting around the world in a flying ship of the skies, and has now 2 orbs where Mono has none, and a massive level advantage too, finding a really good grinding tile in the carry floor. So there's
on top of that, now has 2 ribbons as well. So the rich get richer, and wouldn't you know it? You mentioned the Sun Sword one time, and in comes Woat to chat. Welcome, Woat. Long time no see.
I always liked the Sun Sword because I used to play with, Red Mage, but I would never give him the Mass Moon because it was too good for him. So the Red Wizard always ended up with the Sun Sword when I was playing. It's
a perfectly viable Red Wizard sword for sure. So Monoci at just shy of 1 hour 30 minutes finally gets his class change. A little bit of momentum going here. Can make his way through fiends early like Edgeworth has been able to do. I'm starting to wonder, at what point does Edgeworth seek out that Bridge of Destiny and go for Tiamat? Do you think he's going to try to find Kraken first? Does it matter that you light that 3rd orb, or maybe seek out a War Mech potentially for some free levels?
Yeah, I think he's just taking care of business right now. He's going to do some of the mid to late game stuff that he has to check off his list anyways, and he'll just kind of... That gives him time to think, and it also gives him time to react to maybe new things that crop up that he wasn't expecting. But he's going to get to Gaia, and he's going to get his hands on the Oxy Ale, and then he's probably going to double back to Onrak and see what that entrance is, because maybe it's the Kraken floor, and then all of a sudden the decision's made for him because he's there. Maybe it's not, and then
Yeah, well, I mean, we're running out of locations. The only other place we haven't seen at this point would be Vanilla Castle Ordeals. I don't think anyone's checked that just yet. So it's going to be either there or, as mentioned, you're going to have to dig out the Oxiel and head over to Onrek.
Pro capes for the wizards.
Pro capes.
Yeah. Every shred of gear you can get your hands on is going to be nice here because, like with ninjas, they're just as awesome and cool as they are not knights, and they need every bit of help they can get. And so do those mages.
Absolutely. Edgeworth doing a level 8 check here. Finds life at level 8. Have we seen life too?
Yeah, he just found it at level 7 actually.
Level 7, okay.
Picked it up, yeah.
So yeah, chat point out Mirage Tower still in place. So we have found the slab. We've got the ability to turn in the slab, which we know is down, which is Lefane. So everything is kind of on the table for Edge to decide which order he wants to do it. And Monoci following suit. They're about to high five just outside of Lefane.
That's amazing that they're actually high-fiving at any point now. Mono gonna get the Oxiel right after Edge does, and yet so far behind in terms of other progression and levels.
Well, this is what happens when you're Monoci and you're feeling a little bit, dare I say, ballsy, wanting to call out Edgeworth, who, like we mentioned earlier, winner of the last spring tournament. There's a reason the guy wins. He's just phenomenal at this game. Somehow makes all the right decisions. Paid off again here tonight. You said with the slow and steady kind of approach to making sure you kept those items that you found earlier, and it definitely paid off tonight. If there's anyone that can make a comeback, sure, it's Monoci. He's one of the best at the game, but this lead just seems to continue to grow for Edgeworth here. He's about to check off one of the locations we just mentioned we hadn't seen yet. So we'll find out shortly what's in that Ordeals location there.
Question from chat, what happened to Mono? Mono found the cube pretty early, but wiped and just sort of forgot about it. And it was at the Marsh Cave entrance. And as luck would have it, 7 layers deep at the Matoya's cave entrance, you needed to get past the cube block to get to the dwarf cave to get the canal. And he sort of forgot about it, couldn't remember where it was, and he spent 15 minutes sailing around trying to find it. So he lost a lot of time there.
A lot of time lost. And that's unfortunate because it's one of those things. I'm sure any other race, he would have wrote down, Marsh Cave equals cube. It's very easy to do, especially first floor. But it seems like he just didn't make that note. And if there's one thing you have to do when you're doing floor, you have to take notes. I mean, yeah, I guess some could do it just memory alone, but you play enough of these and your memory will start to betray you pretty quickly.
The nice calming Provoca sea blue. Tinted Onrak. And behind the Oxiel lock, we've got an ice cave floor.
Ice cave, and I'm almost betting that this is going to lead to Kraken, because otherwise that means that a loose chest somewhere is holding the chime. We have not seen it yet. Actually, no, not the chime. I'm sorry. This is a fetch quest turned off. So the slab turned in. So Edgeworth, pretty much good. Sarda, good pickup item here. Could this be the Mazmoon? No. Opal bracelet.
Opal bracelet.
Opal, not bad. Black shirt, white shirt's already been found. I would almost want to throw that opal onto one of the... But, I'm nowhere near as good as Edgeworth. Shut up and watch what he does.
Yeah, it's equal in absorb to the flame and ice armors, and they have elemental resists. So I don't know if he has both of them, but yeah.
I know I've seen shields, flame and ice. I don't know about the armors yet. Okay, so here goes our slab turn in for Edgeworth. Elflin. That's going to get us our chime.
Yeah, and then to the Marsh Cave entrance. It's amazing. Everything has been required so far. We haven't found the vampire floor, so we don't know where that leads to yet. That's the last lock, I think.
So Mono's got one sliver of hope right now. One thing that can get him back in this game. and it's the fact that Edgeworth doesn't have the loot. And I'm starting to wonder if he remembers that he's got that unchecked location, because it was in that dungeon that was, what, 7-8 floors deep, that led to a split. It was just disgusting.
He's still got nightmares that are stopping him from checking it again. Oh, maybe he's going back now.
Nope. As soon as I say that, almost on cue, he goes right back to the place that he didn't check, and he's going to pick up his loot here if he takes that right at sea, and it is all but done at that point, because that's the only thing that is holding him back from being able to just enter unofficially go mode.
Oh, those ghosts aren't so scary, no.
Looking here through the list, is there anything else that we're needing to progress? And it doesn't look like it. I was wondering if maybe we can get fortunate and maybe one of the loose key items that's required would be TFC or something, where we know the location of it, but we don't have the key yet. Very easy to forget that chest, but I just don't see anything that's required. So it's almost to the point to where Edgeworth just needs to follow the breadcrumb trail and then get levels and go.
Yeah, we don't know where Kraken is, but I don't think there's any locks left that it could be behind.
Got to be behind Mirage, I think.
Yeah, it could also lead directly into the vampire floor, but he has the rod anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're going to see Mirage. It could just be too deep. It could be directly to vampire.
Well, we got to have a fork in there because we need to get to Matoya's cave somehow too, because I don't think we've met her yet either, have we?
Well, I know we saw the marsh split, but I don't know if we saw both sides of that marsh split.
Did we see the marsh split, or did we see...
We did, yeah. I believe Edge found the marsh split. But I didn't catch if he went both directions.
Okay. All right, he's going to be thorough, yeah. Yeah, he's not messing around. He's here to win.
So now, Edgeworth is going to pick up the loot. It's in one of the... If he decides to check out the trap tile, which at this point, why wouldn't? He's also going to get paid with the power bonk. And the rich get richer again. Everything is going right for Edgeworth. He's checks. He's not forgetting anything. He did his grind when it stopped looking up for him.
This pesky unrunnable fight. Always and forever. See if we ever get around to fixing that.
Yeah, this is one of those fights that gets a little annoying. Death touch or thunder or blaze or anything like that. Almost a controller breaking moment. It looked to be pretty tame this time. I don't think there's anything on the left side here that was of note, but that Sharknado room is definitely going to pay off. Monoci making his way through Waterfall. He is going to find the slab and the white shirt, I believe, from the robot.
That's correct.
Opal helmet. You've got water trap tile. Not so bad if they roll low health if you want to see, but we've already found a 3-eye grind.
Says no to the Sun Sword.
And Woat dies a little bit more in as the Sun Sword stays buried at the bottom of the sea.
Where it belongs. Needs to brighten up that dungeon, you know? I assume it sheds some light. Like glamdring.
It, like I said, it should cast a lamp in battle, so I can't imagine a bit of a glow there. Edgeworth taking the high XP fights tells me that he feels he still needs a little bit more level. That's the item he was looking for. That puts it all together. He can go and turn in the keychain, and nothing to it but to clear out and find Kraken and go take care of Tiamat. But you kind of know it's all but left to the Mirage Tower for Kraken. Monoci finds TOF, which is in Cardia Double Bahamut location. Edgeworth does take the trap tile, does get rewarded with the power bonk, and finds 4 trolls who do what their name implies, and they apply poison. Troll you just a little bit more. You mentioned earlier that Edge might come through here with the key and hit up Northwest Castle. I'm sorry, you said Crown, but if he... Yeah, I guess he couldn't have the key yet. I wonder if he comes back and checks these 3 chests when he does.
Since he actually is in go mode, and at this point, I don't think there's anything left that he's looking for.
No, we've got... I mean, Mazmoon is really the only thing on that list that I'm looking at that could be of any sort of value here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that the Mazmoon is enough. I can get by without that. Maybe go pick up that second katana if you really cared.
Yeah, Mazmoon's an incentive item, so it's got to come from one of our remaining incentive locations, which might be the princess at this point. Anything left?
No, princess is pretty much all that's left here. Matoya's going to give us the herb. Herb's going to give us the key. Does he remember? Does he care that he has access to the princess?
Do we remember where Elfland Castle is?
Nope. Not a clue, but that's why chat's here. Spell zap in chat. Doot doot, give me the loot, says Edgeworth. And the loot he shall get. So Mono's level's looking a little compared to Edgeworth, but of course Mono, I'm sure the moment he finds that 3-eye grind is going to take it. Fast at level 6. It's nice to see, but fortunately only the Black Wizards.
Edge knows what he's doing. He looks like he's heading to the waterfall. That must be... Oh, man. He's in encounter country. Okay,
Yes,
get some of
he
that.
is. What
We
was
don't
in
take kindly
Waterfall?
to folk like you around here.
Well, he's making good use of the save items there. Going to reset out of there. Let's see what was in. It was Earth. I don't recall what was beyond here. What is he looking for?
He came directly here, so I'm guessing either
This
he hasn't
might
fully
be the marsh split that we were talking
and
about.
one of them has got to go to Elfland Castle. Does the other one go to...
Yeah. So marsh split here. Could go to the rod floor, but then again, we haven't seen any of Mirage yet, I don't think. So we'll find out here shortly. Edge is going to keep us on the edge of our seats until we find out. It is Guy 3.
Treasure floor. This Guy 3 packed with chests. He is
He
not
doesn't
interested
care.
in the slightest.
Nope.
Uh-huh.
So here's
Vampire
Rod
floor, he
Block.
can skip all of this. Yeah, he's got the rod. He doesn't need any of the treasure because he's basically in go mode now.
So where could this lead?
It could lead into Elfland Castle. It could lead to Kraken.
Well, if it's Kraken, that's all but said and done for him. He knows where Tiamat's at. Key. He will have key soon, anyways.
Wait, Nuke, wait. Everyone chill, says Edge. I got this.
Hang tight, I'll toast these boys up. He is skipping just about everything, just beeline. This poor
Everybody
vampire.
say hello to the vampire.
Hello, vampire.
Oh, he actually took a hit.
Oh,
And say goodbye to the vampire.
goodbye, vampire. And he does check the chest there, because why not? It's just a few steps away. And we will find out shortly what's behind this rock. Is it going to be Kraken? Is this going to put the game away? It
Yes.
is Kraken, so we have identified the levels of all 4 fiends. Does Edgeworth have the levels to take him out? Yeah, I would say he does. We're looking at non-clamped bosses. So I believe we have the percentages at, I think it's 40% to 250. No, it's 250.
Second
I think it goes
question.
up to 40.
Does he take the warp after killing Kraken, or does he cast warp a couple times to get back to the fork and go the other way, which I think is got to lead to Elfland Castle, right?
Not necessarily, unless he's already checked. If he's already checked Mirage Tower and knows that it's not there. But yeah, I don't think that you leave a location where there's a split when you're still looking for something. I think he warps back out. I don't think he takes the exit from the step.
Question from chat. Do the runners use the same seed in these races? They absolutely do. Because if they were playing different randomized games, it would probably be so wildly different that it would not be a very interesting race.
The recaps wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, it's a good question, but yes, they do indeed play exactly the same game. The seed is revealed to them only moments before, so they obviously have no opportunity to do any dastardly deeds behind the scenes and find out what's inside.
Yeah, you can practice the flag set all you want, but the seed changes every time, and it can vary wildly. Like I was mentioning before, we got in 5-6 practice runs on this flag set, and they were all done just shy of 2 hours. So I think only one lasted a little over. And boy, is that not the case here. We have just now lit our third orb at 46 minutes. So Edgeworth definitely getting the ball rolling here. But flags or the seeds can change wildly between them. And they don't get to find out what the seed is until just minutes before the match starts. Okay, so the other Marsh split was El Castle. There is no reason to go Mirage from what I can tell. You've got your key, you've got your loot, you know where Tiamat's at, you know where Topher's at. Not looking good for Monoci here. I just don't see how, unless TOFR is one gigantic hurdle, I just don't see him closing this gap at all.
The herb will release the prince. He is waking. Here, take this key and get out of my house.
That's what you do when you wake up from years worth of coma, is dig in your pockets and give away free stuff.
Alright, he's got the Mystic Key, he's got the loot, he's got 3 orbs lit, he's got a date with Tiamat, and then the Temple of Fiends are visited.
Yeah, Tiny pointing out in chat there that is it possible to cheat? Yeah, sure. I'm sure there is, but it's a 30-year-old video game that we all play because we love it. Some of us just found it a year or two ago. I know my wife just started playing this after I found the randomizer and showed it to her, but just no reason to cheat. The prestige, I guess, from winning, kudos to you.
There's a lot at stake here. The stakes have never been lower. Yeah, foul play is generally frowned upon.
All right, well, at 1 hour and 48 minutes, Monoci has 1 orb lit, and Edgeworth has 3. And yep, there he goes, putting it together, reading his notes, knows that Northwest Castle leads to the 4th. There's the Adamant pickup, so that's going to turn into the Excalibur, which will be really nice to not worry about since we don't have knights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, Edge
man
just
on a mission
like
here.
sprinting through the nasty, toxic damage tiles. You have to use your imagination when the damage tiles aren't red or blue. What are they? With that awful shade of green, I can only assume it's some sort of horrible toxic waste.
Toxic waste, swamp, puddles, who knows? But just makes his way right through. One of the better quality of life changes you guys added, turning off the damage flicker for that lava. Vanilla, that flashes your screen like crazy, and it looks like Edgeworth, either the frame rate's not showing it or he actually disabled that because I didn't see any of it on his side.
Mint chip ice cream. That doesn't sound like it would be that painful, but maybe you're just eating so much of it that it slows you down and just does extreme pain.
Possible. Here is where chat needs to go ahead and throw out the bless RNG because we have our Destiny Edgeworth and Vanilla Warmech is turned on. So there is a chance, albeit a slim chance, but there's a chance we see everybody's favorite enemy, the man, the myth, Mr. Robot himself. That's not him. That's another Nocho.
Nacho. What kind of cheese isn't your cheese? Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. Final Fantasy Randomizer, come for stay for the middle school joke. They are
I apologize.
Amazing. There's the bless RNGs from chat. That's a single air. Doesn't look anything like a Warmech. We've got a few more steps to go. There's some more nachos. Look at Monoci being thorough with his chest checking. I think he did learn his lesson. Fortunately,
Yeah,
it's not really paying off for him anymore.
No, there's not much left to find. He does have a date with Kraken if he keeps this up, though. Does he have life on this White Wizard? I mean, I should hope so by this point. But I would have expected him to cast it, too.
Yeah, I don't know. There's really no reason to keep Will Ed there at the top unless he's just trying to conserve resources here.
Well, he toasts a vampire and he gets down to Kraken floor. We'll see what happens here.
Brack going off against Tiamat misses. Bane missed earlier. He's trying for the insta-kill. Bane goes off again. So round 2 against Tiamat. He's got A-Rub, I think, was... No, he threw Wall up, if I saw it correctly. Yep. Brack going out again on Tiamat. Ineffective
No good.
Again.
2 more Banes.
Wall's going to go up. Here's Bane from Mono against Tiamat. Ineffective. A second Bane from Lar.
Ineffective. He's sticking with it. That is the most toxic room. Like, you need to have a mask in there. Everyone's coughing and sneezing, and finally, the poison smoke overcomes Tiamat.
It's like the old saying, if at first you don't succeed, Bane 17 more times until it... So Edgeworth, just like we planned it, just shy of 2 hours is ready for TOFR. So this could be over here shortly. Monoci, 3 orbs down at the moment, closing in on Kraken, getting ready for the fight. Don't believe he has life, because if he does, he's not used.
Is he popping in here to grab the katana that he already grabbed because he got mixed up?
I'm not sure. The katana he's missing was from greater than less than. So I don't know.
Is there a trap tile?
No, yeah, he didn't pick up that katana. That's
he must have got the one from the less than greater than room. That's strange. I had them backwards.
Well, I think that just about wraps up his gearing. He's got at least 2 ribbons from what I can see. He's got Wall, so that's no longer an issue. He's got A-Rub, he's got the opal bracelets, the gold or the white shirt, the black shirt. Everything's looking good. I think Edgeworth got his heal potions. It looks like he does 90 of them. It's time to dive.
I might have been tempted to go visit the princess and get my hands on the mess moon, but that would have been the last little bit of preparation.
Yeah, process elimination kind of tells you that it's got to be there, but I don't think he cares too much about that. But those are the frost dragons who earlier had stone poison, which was fun. Monoci continuing to dig. He is not in. Unfortunately, he does not get of flying through some of these floors like Edgeworth. But here's Edge fighting our favorite friends of the seed, Death Touch Frost Wolves. So back in time we go. 1 hour and 53 minutes. Edgeworth went backwards in time 2,000 years. Closing in. Monoci, just the 1 orb. Was Kraken his first fiend? Or does he have 2 kills? I think he might just have the 1. He reset out of Kraken. Okay. Thank you, chat. Okay,
the old Gasties, one of the most hated enemies in the original game. Simply terrifying. Not quite so bad with shuffled spells.
It's not so bad. Definitely good XP here. I didn't see if that was runnable or not, or if he just chose to take it for the XP that they give. Pretty high. I think I just saw 4,000 from just 2 of them there. Benefit of the XP boost that we gave him on this seed.
That was an extremely annoying runnable trap tile where he was ambushed and just generally harassed by a saber-toothed tiger and a bunch of catmen.
So there he goes, applying the loot that was mandatory that we found in Sharknado.
Oh, this scary
floor.
Gets through there without too much of a headache. You never feel good when there's Death Touch. It cuts right through that ribbon, but your MDEF and levels will help.
So Frosty's again here, and just not as scary as it was before with all these rips. Not to mention the fact he's got plenty of soft, so no big deal. Monoci making his way through. I didn't catch where he was at the moment, but really it just doesn't matter too much at this point. Edge just has too much of a lead here. Unfortunately, one too many key wipes at the beginning of the match for Monoci. And then forgetting where that cube was just huge.
Yeah, you can't make a mistake like that and expect Edge to give it back to you. And he hasn't. He had a couple of ugly wipes, lost a few minutes there when he was just destroyed by the death touch and then later killed by the stone poison and the cracks. So, I mean, it hasn't been flawless for him, but he just had too much of a lead, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those matches where you kind of just know that such a slow and long start, once you get past that hump, it's going to be smooth sailing. It's just frustrating to get past that hump, and Edgeworth was able to do so and just kind of snowballed from there. Been very interesting to watch Monoci with some of his decision making. Unfortunately, just this time it didn't pay out. So we'll see if he can't try to build and catch up. Edgeworth is back in time. This could be deadly. This could be one of the easier Tophers that remains to be seen. But definitely want to stop for a moment and appreciate the hard work of Moist Mogwai on Tracker and Speed Gaming for working with us here. We had a little bit of a late start. We're going a little bit over time here, but it looks like they're being gracious enough to let us go ahead and finish this one out. Willing to move the next race back just a little bit, so we're very, very thankful for that. Monoci is about to pull up Kraken again. Doesn't have the insta-kill spells on hand as well as Edgeworth did, and it took Edgeworth a few tries, so it's a little bit of luck might be needed for Monoci here. Over on Edge's side, he is pulling Lich 2. He's got in about 300-400 damage.
Shows Kraken the taste of poison smoke. Still only level 18 on mono side.
Yeah,
Doesn't have the
carry
crown
floor.
yet. Hasn't found the carry floor with the beautiful, beautiful, juicy EXP trap tile.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate too. It looks like Monoci is not skipping any chests, so that's definitely beneficial. He is going to find that, and therefore the trap tile.
See, the reason he has to do this is because he doesn't have the crown, right? And it's just sort of a bit of an unlucky ordering thing in this case.
Yeah, that's we talked about it. That's one of the most interesting things about these flags is it kind of reverses the priority. And he knows that crown's going to be loose. You're not going to find it from an NPC. You're not going to pick it up anywhere. So he still has to just continue to dig. And I think Edgeworth finding that and also having it being paired with a tile that was so great for XP was just a little bit overwhelming for his odds here against Monoci. Pulling Carry 2 here. That was a little deadly, but looks like he survived with it. Go ahead.
He got past the first Thunder there, and he got off a nuke for 380. It was a really nice roll. He's going to use another. This is where charge management is like the only place that it's really complicated is what to do in the Temple of Fiends Revisited. It's a long dungeon. You can't ever regenerate your magic charges unless you escape, so you've got to be so judicious about when you use them.
It definitely helps that he got those ninjas before 15, so he was able to reach without any issue. So it helps having more of them to go around. But you'd be surprised how quickly you can burn through those extra spell charges if you're not careful. So he's doing a very, very good job so far of managing these fights along the way and making sure he's doing just enough on some of these bosses without kind of tipping his hand and leaving himself dry at the end.
Yeah, if you want to have that nuke chaos strategy available to you, you have to have a ton of charges because, he's going to have in the ballpark of 2,000 health, and that's going to take a lot of nukes to even scratch. So either you use them all up before that and rely on your ability to chop them down, or you try to save a whole bunch of them. But something in the middle isn't really going to do it, and you're still going to need a powerful attack to finish it off.
Yeah, with a party like this, you do have fast, you do have temper, albeit it's relying on the fact that your black mage stays alive. If chaos happens to get, cure 4 against a party like this that is not buffed because you lost your tempers and your fast casts, could be in for quite a long fight. Katanas are nice, but if the evasion rolls pretty high, it'll be a pretty frustrating fight.
And he's got lots of evade and got a wall on that second ninja. He's really looking to focus on that one. The ninja at the top is going to take 50% of the attacks. The second place ninja there in the second slot is only going to get a quarter of the attacks. So he's got better survivability. And that's the one you want to buff up.
Getting pretty good hits off so far. There's another
little nuclear. Takes off half his HP pretty
well.
much.
Deal 3's going out for a white wizard. 270 with the katana. Not a bad swing. Nuke coming out from Edge, the black wizard. Only 160. AoE stop. Ribbons are going to stop most of that, but down goes his top character there.
That guy was mostly the tank, so he dodged the bullet with the guy that matters, with his ninja mono. Cure 4 will cure the stun too, looking good. Clever use of Cure 4. It actually has the ability to cure all the status effects except for being turned to stone.
And just like that, down goes Kraken 2. Picks up level 32. I don't think the ninja gets another swing of that soon, so levels are no longer other than the extra health they give you there. So far, pretty easy TOFR. Have you seen anything deadly or nasty?
Oh, we even saw a nuclear squeak out. We haven't seen Cure 4 yet. We haven't seen the real nuke yet. Nor did we see the War Mech, so it might have some of those skills too. So he could be in for an easy walk here, or it could just get ugly. Looks like he's going to lay on exactly the same strategy. The white shirt, defense, sword, wall on the second ninja. Oh, there we go. There's Tiamat.
Good measure too. Look at that damage going off. And we had already gotten, I think, a white shirt at least, and still 3 hits landing in for 432 damage.
Yeah, Tiamat rearing her ugly heads. 346 nuke is a pretty good roll.
It was a nice nuke.
Not a lot of damage out of that katana yet, though. Just 80.
Luckily, so Monoci finds the third eye grind. He's going to do got the Edgeworth one floor away, from the chaos fight. It looks like the absorb of this Tiamat is just a little bit higher than what Edgeworth was hoping for. 4 hits for 41 damage. The fast is going to go out over to Larry here. We're going to try to get him to do a little bit more of those swings. Let's see how we do now. 8 hits, 397 is enough to get it done. And just like that, Edgeworth is steps away from chaos and putting this one to bed.
Now, boss stats at up to 250%. So we could have a chaos with something like 5,000 HP if he's really unlucky on the max end. And we haven't seen nuke. We haven't seen a lot of things. This could be easy. This could be hard. Time for Edge to find out.
Could be. 2 hours, 3-minute mark. Edgeworth is making his second adjustments here. He's setting his lineup. He talked about it. The top character takes 50%. Second takes 25%. He knows that. He's making sure he gets the characters in the right order. Shuffling around a little bit of gear. 10 seconds here saves you 30, 40, 50 seconds later on, especially if you wipe. Now you're saving minutes. It's well worth the time to make sure you come in here fully prepared. And here we go. Just shy of 204. We have our first chaos pull, and he's sticking to that strategy. He's just going to buff himself up.
He has tactically moved his ninja down to the third slot now, where it's only going to get, an eighth of the physical attacks directed at it. Mm-hmm. That black wizard is going to outlive his usefulness once he's got a couple of spells off, so he's not too worried about him taking the beats here. He's going to get a couple tempers off, a nuke, whatever he can do before he dies, and really sort of count on that ninja mono, ironically named, to carry him to victory.
Chaos being a little bit forgiving, leads off with a stun against mono, and it does not land, gives Edgeworth time to throw out even more buffs, and with each passing round, he becomes more and more invincible. Already negated chaos down to a single hit with these white shirts. 1 or 2 more of those, and you're going to start seeing a lot of misses. So whether or not chaos has spells is really going to determine how this match goes. Katana, 8 hits, 252. We're going to continue to buff up mono. There's another freebie turn. Light 2 is not going to do anything to this party. And we continue to temper.
It looks like he's got some of the weaker skills. The lit 2, the stun. That's exactly what Edge wanted to see after this seed.
Yeah, it looks like all the difficulty of this seed was in the front. Smooth sailing ever since we took to the air.
No, don't talk too fast. There's a nuke. He's got some spells to get through to get around to nuke again, and we don't know how long his spell sheet is or what skills he may have. So it depends how much HP he has, and not enough. 8 hits, 937 damage. Chaos goes down. Edge goes up to victory at 205.34.
And that's why he's the champion of previous tournaments, because he just finds ways to win. So official SRL time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 33 seconds. Edgeworth takes this special challenge race that was put forward by Monoci. And I got to say, at an hour into this match, did you think we would close into the 2 hour mark that we were hoping for?
Stretch, but as soon as all of that stuff opened up, the floater was there, the nukes at level 2, the fade at level 5 was right before that, the cure 4. All of a sudden I had a good feeling. Like they say in Final Fantasy Tactics when they get back from that job mining in some Dorter trade city, I had a good feeling.
So 153 out of 241 chests, although just about everything we needed was loose. Didn't take too many chests for Edge to actually find all the items he needed. Was able to pull that off here. Monoci, though, no quit in him whatsoever. You got to look at it this way. He caught up pretty quickly. He's about to kill his 4th fiend. Still has to go, I think, back and get the loot. He certainly knows where it is. He's seen it, at least.
If you're wondering if we're going to stick around, yes, Speed Gaming has graciously offered to shuffle their schedule to keep this show going, so I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are, and we're going to be on the air until Monoci finishes, or is finished.
Yeah, or is finished when he decides to throw it in, but lighting that for... Yeah, I think he's going to stick with this here. The question is, does he have the loot? Or does he remember where it's at? It looks like he remembers. He's going straight for it. I think he found the loot enough times that it's been burnt into
it. Yes, that's exactly it. He knows right where it is. He doesn't have the Mystic Key, does he? He still has to complete the entire crown quest, got some time ahead of him.
Got the crown. He can get the key, but he doesn't have it just...
I think the real problem is his party. And I don't mean the character classes or their levels. I mean their names. Edge's party had Edge in it. It had Mono in it. It had Winners in it. Mono's party has Will in it and me. And and you. Like, what is he doing? He's never going to win with a party like that.
The B team sometimes gets the job done. Unfortunately, Edgeworth was able to pull it through and should be joining us shortly in voice chat for a post-race interview where I'm sure he'll be nothing but humble and welcoming here.
I can't wait to ask what he thought of that. He was one of the very first people to even really have a shot at these new flags that changed it and disincentivized all the plot items, and I'm really curious to see how he feels that went.
Especially knowing that I don't think he had a chance to run a practice ever since we drafted up these flags. I know Mono did, and he was feeling pretty good. I think Edge went in blind. And speak of the devil himself, Edgeworth, your winner tonight. GG Edge.
Thank you.
So 205, pretty good time given how brutal that first hour was. What do you think?
Yeah, it was. Gosh, you had to do a lot of dives through a lot of nasty areas, and not even Double Thief Run would help you out. There was just a lot of stuff like those damn man cats that would just obliterate your party.
How do you feel about the Frost Giant Frost Wolf party?
I mean, it was just one of those, like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's gonna be one of these seeds. Let me see how many attempts.
So we didn't shuffle scripts, which is something that has become so commonplace. What do you think about knowing who's attacking and who's casting, as someone that knows this game so well?
Oh, you didn't shuffle scripts? I totally missed that.
Ah, there you go. Just skills and spells, but not scripts.
Okay, yeah, no, I was terrified of everything as usual.
So I have a question for you. This is a brand new style of flag set that's possible in the newest alpha and eventually will be in V3, where you can turn off the incentivization of the progression items like the loot and so forth. The rod, the cube. Those things were always incentivized until like tonight. How does playing this for the first time feel?
I liked it. It definitely made you you had to check a lot of places instead of just beelining incentive locations, and that felt pretty good. So it was kind of like finding a nice balance between the two. Seemed to be key to doing well in this seed.
If you're wondering why Mono is so far behind, I can let you in on a little secret. He found the cube about the same time you did. You guys were pretty close up to there, but he wiped in that dungeon, surprise, surprise, and sort of forgot to go grab it again, even though it was on like the first or second floor. So he had to sail back and forth across the inner sea a couple of times until he got it to get to that ridiculously well-hidden dwarf cave. And that's basically where you just pushed way ahead, because right after you found the canal and sailed through, you got to go to Melmond and then Provoca at Crescent Lake, and those were just huge. So was there like a real watershed moment there where you're like, oh sweet, this party's really coming together?
So hitting the canoe and getting the airship, because it was kind of like, all right, there's canoe, and I think tail was also
Vicky.
given. Was that the pirate? Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky
Yes.
had the, and then the floater was for sale in Provoca too, so it was just like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, so just go there, go promote, come back, get nuke, get temper, and everything's gonna be pretty nice.
So, Edge, I got a question for you here. Nitz and I, of course, playing back. We're a little bit curious at the start. You guys seem to have a little bit of a couple wipes. Really, having light 3 at level 1 game to throw a water within the first couple floors. Was there ever a moment where you were almost to the point where you were just gonna kind of stick it out, buy a house or two, and just grind with that light 3?
So not really. I felt pretty comfortable taking down like packs of ghosts and stuff because you had harm 3 as well. And with the double thief, I think it would have been the smart play to grind a few extra levels, but I was just like, I got 2 thieves, I got exit, I can run away from anything. Let me see if I can just beeline this to I don't know, maybe find an early floater and canoe, and then I got the canal, and it's like, oh no, that's not how this was going to play out at all.
Yeah, you guys both had that same idea where, I don't know if you remember the end of the Holy Grail, where Elsa's like reaching for the Grail. She's like, I can reach it. And Indy's like, give me your other hand. And like, you guys kept reaching and kept wiping, when it just felt like if you just grinded a few levels earlier, it could have been so much like less suffering. But that's just what it looked like to us. Like maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I felt like, okay, so Ice Cave was kind of mean to me, but because you didn't have to walk through the top 2 floors of Ice Cave, you didn't lose nearly as much time as you normally would. So that didn't feel so bad. And then I think the Frostwolf wipes, those weren't bad either. It was a little irritating. But I know that I picked up a bunch of treasures in a couple dives, wiped the Frost Wolves, and just never picked that stuff up. And I think it would have hurt me a lot worse if those items were actually relevant. Like, I actually had to go back and get the katana at the end of the game. I didn't forget where that was. No Vorpal strats tonight.
Did you contemplate going to talk to the princess? Because she was the last incentive location that you had been to, and she was the last incentive item, which would have been the Mass Moon.
Yeah,
but maybe you weren't thinking that far ahead.
No, I didn't want the Mass Moon. The thing is with the thieves, their base strength is so poor that I think a crit based strategy is better with thieves than if I had a fighter. Yeah, definitely I would have gone.
Right. Okay. So Mono throws down the gauntlet. You pick it up. Pretty like clean victory with at least 10 minutes between you, probably 15 or more by the time this is said and done. How do you feel about being the reigning champ of the Challenge Series now? Have anybody in your sights? Have any thoughts about where this is going?
Geez, oh no, that's how this works, huh?
Well, you don't necessarily have to pick somebody and beat them up, but it's really just like, who do you want to have a challenge grudge match against if you could pick anybody?
Honestly, it would probably be Crab Cakes. That would be a really sick match to watch.
All right.
It's not even, it's just...
You hear that, Crab Cakes? I'm trying to do my best, like, Don King / WWE. We got Edge here, he's got the belt, and he's coming for you. Which it's not really how the belt works, but don't worry about it.
Nah, because I'm just thinking of, like, people who's, like... I mean, it would be fun to play against, like, the Tristles of the world, but I think Crab Cakes is, like, the best player that I've seen up and coming, and I don't know, it just would be a treat to do a run, on a big SG stage.
Well, I'll tell you what's a treat from my perspective. Adding features to the alpha version of this game earlier this week, and then watching two of the best people ever, virtually without practice or warning, take each other on in front of this like live audience and have a chance to call the race. It has been an absolute gem of a Friday night from my perspective, and I think the 100 and so odd viewers feel the same. So thank you very much for joining us, Edge, and for putting on such a good show and winning in 2:05 when the first hour looked like that was not going to be possible.
It like I said, after Crescent Lake, it all came together, so it was pretty quick from there on out.
Yeah, we started wondering if we didn't kind of dig a little bit too deep of a hole with the flags, because the proposed flag set right off the bat, Mono was already kind of kicking and screaming and saying, no, you've made it too hard, you need to dial it back. So of course we did dial it back just a little bit. Did a few practice runs of this flag set, smooth as butter, and wouldn't you know it, when you guys actually come to race time, nothing lined up the way that it did. And it really looked like we were going to have to brace ourselves for some frustration in the post-game interviews, but it just kind of snowballed once you were able to get yourself out of that inner C. Everything kind of turned around here. Anything about these flag sets that you would tweak, or is this entertaining, or is this more of a frustration when you're having to dig for loose items like this?
I think the only thing I would switch about the flag set is, I don't know, maybe the Force Thieves, like maybe a fighter or two be kind of.
You asked me for, you asked us to pick the seats, and the first thing I did was dismiss out of hand everyone's favorite classes. Fighters, black belts, red mages, just gone off the table. I thought about it, then I was like, no, I want to make it a challenging but balanced party that's going to make them use every tool in the chest. And it worked, because some of the first items were caster items, and there was coral swords people were swinging around with their thieves and actually killing things with them. And it was just awesome to see all those ghetto fallback strats come into play today.
It's Coral Sword with all the Sea Shrine floors. It's like it's like a Masmune.
A Masmune made in heaven.
Pretty much. You both saw. We were wondering if you're going to pick up and put to use. Talking about the Sun Sword, actually brought Woat out of hiding. Showed up and joined us in chat today. I don't know if he's still with us or not. But finding those two katanas when you have the double surely had to at least put a smile on your face, knowing that you didn't have to go chase down that Mazza.
I put a smile on my face that I knew that I could throw the Vorpal out.
Two ninjas, both with katanas, level 2 nuke, level 2 temper. Are these the most baddest ninjas that have ever been played in FFR, or what?
Well, I mean, if they knew fast at one, then it would be. But
all right,
pretty cool.
all right.
That would make them show enough levels. So Monoci here, not any quit in him whatsoever, was behind the 8-ball quite a bit. We talked about once Edgeworth picked up his floater and actually got out of the sea, went and got his floater, how he just started to put too much distance between him and Monoci there. I think at one point it was a 3-orb to 1 lead. I'm sorry, 4-orb to 1-orb lead. But Monoci here is pulling his way through, is about to be on Kraken's floor, if I saw that right. I think he just took out Gary. He's on Kraken 2's floor 15 minutes afterwards. So really doing a great job of catching up ground. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough tonight. But all said and done, with as nasty as this seed was at the beginning, and it was disgusting just how deep those required dungeons were at the start. A really, really good turnaround from him.
Taking nothing for granted here on the siege floor. He's found a nice big pack of enemies to wear him down a bit. But he's using his heals, he's saving all his magic, because that's what you do when you don't want to wipe at the end of this. And here is Kraken, who we know is just about the most dangerous of the 3 final bosses. Really powerful attack, and I think we see a nuke or a nuclear.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the potential of a nuclear here, and what's
Yeah.
I think he has the same level that Edge had. Edge, correct me if I'm wrong, you had almost everyone, if not over, just close to 400 just to have a high chance of surviving nuke, right?
The goal was to hit 29 on everybody, so that it was the 4th hit with Katana, and then it just through the course of, because I did an eye grind roughly to hit 29, and I think I ended up at like 32. Which, that wasn't so bad HP-wise, but 29 was what I was really going for.
If we didn't have static EXP, would you have danned one of those thieves right off the bat? Or yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I probably would have gone with, like, 1 thief at 50, but, 2 thieves at 31 seemed to work pretty well.
So Monoci takes out Kraken 2 there.
As a viewer, I find it more fun when the full party is alive, because there's more stuff going on, and I guess it actually does make the game slower and harder, because that ability to grind faster with a smaller party is just unbeatable. But it's fun watching full parties work together.
I'm starting to, I hate the flag when I play it, and I understand why people dislike it, because there's just no reason, if you have the choice, to keep all 4 alive. But there is something about just the nostalgia of 4 light warriors, 4 orbs, have your entire party stay alive. It's fun to throw it in every once in a while, but sparingly, I think, because you can definitely tip people's frustrations here.
Yeah.
Monoci making use of one of the alpha, and that is the fact that lock is guaranteed to land, which is going to make the enemies easier to hit, lower their evasion, I believe it is, right?
Yes, in the vanilla game, it did the wonderful job of increasing their evasion, which is why you never used it. But we have fixed it, and then we made it always land, because it's not that powerful, even if it does land, and it doesn't do any damage or anything like that. So while you're locking them, they're wailing on you. So it seems like so far the right balance is for it to just work 100% of the time. That could still be tweaked or nerfed, even though, it's just about settled upon. I think that's what everybody likes, and that's what we're going to leave it.
Yep. Doing a good job of getting his defenses up there. Tiamat whacked Edgeworth, one of his characters, for 430. Almost took him out, too. But it looks like Monoci was able to get all of his defenses up there as all 4 light warriors alive. And just shy of 20 minutes from the moment Edge finished, you have Monoci getting ready for Chaos. Chaos, unfortunately, like the rest of the season, for a single nuke that was right after I said he had nothing.
Looks like he's going to make Nitz the fall ninja and Will the victory ninja.
We'll
see how it goes. It was my seed, my flags, and I'm going to have to die for it.
And Bratster joining us in chat as well. Long time no see, Brat. How are you? Monoci just shy of 225, doing exactly what Edge did. Was a small fight. He is going for the buff strategies as well. We're going to put fast off on Will. We're doing power bonks, and there's the invis too.
Yeah.
Not doing wall though. Will's got the ribbon.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he stacked that ninja. That's his strategy. Got the lock off on Chaos too. It's nice to balance all the different things, buffing your own attack, lowering the enemy's evasion, because all those things kind of work together in sort of a multiplicative relationship. And if one of them is really high or really low, it can really help to just bring things into balance slightly rather than stacking all attack or all lock.
Well, so hopefully it's not a commentator's curse, but I just do want to point it out for any viewers that are kind of newer to the FFR series here. Nuke coming out has the potential 100 damage, and I'm looking at the screen here, and I don't see a single character that's sitting above that threshold here. So
No, he doesn't have a party strong enough. He does not have the levels. He's going to have to cross his fingers that Nuke can't do 360 damage to that ninja right now.
Keep Will alive at all costs. If the Nuke rolls high on him, that's all she wrote here. Hopefully he can get it done.
Oh, no.
I think right after the light 2, we are going to see the Nuke. Yep, Nuclear goes off. 286 takes out Nit, so the Fall Ninja has fallen.
He's got
threes are
Cure
coming
4.
out.
He's got to throw out that Cure 4.
He does. Gotta keep Will alive. No power bonks. Looks like he thinks there's the Nuke coming.
Oh, that's all she wrote. The old nuclear nuke chaos. And at 226, I think Mono is probably going to take his controller, snap it over his knee, take his computer, douse it in gasoline, set it on fire, throw it out on the front lawn, and go on a rager around his neighborhood until the cops lock him away.
Somewhere in California, somewhere, I think Monoci just put down a controller and cracked open a nice bag of cookies. And he's contemplating whether or not he wants to make it again. And wouldn't be surprised if we see the dot forfeit here. What a rough chaos there. Edge saw the nuke, never saw the nuclear, was able to get him down before then. Chaos, unfortunately for Monoci, just dips into that skill list as well. And there just wasn't enough time for his White Wizard to get any health up on Will. And Nuke just kind of barreled through and took him out methodically.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a really high roll nuclear too. That's kind of unfortunate.
Okay, so it is official. Monoci has thrown in. Gave it the college try there, but with Edgeworth winning 15 minutes prior to, not surprising. Definitely don't want to go through that again. Chaos. So we'll see if we can get Monoci in here for a wrap up here. I would love to hear his opinions on these flags. I'm sure they're probably not going to be too colorful after what he's experienced, but see if we can get him.
We may see a slightly different perspective from Mono than we just got from Edge.
All right, so we know that Edgeworth now takes the crown for the challenge race. As of now, we have not been set to any sort of rules where he has to now challenge someone or someone else is wanting to challenge him. I'm sure everyone wants a shot at the crown, which is
it's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, without a doubt, it is Edge's crown to hold on to at the moment. Crab cakes would definitely be entertaining. Maybe a wild Artea taking on Edge. That would be an interesting one as well. Tristal would be a good one. We'll have to see. Maybe Will Cleosis. Will's taken out some Titans before. Maybe he can do it again.
I mean, Will has pretty frightening scouting abilities. Almost got me in the last tournament too, but I managed to dig out a endgame weapon. He found one that I didn't though, so that was a little worried.
And Will the Dragon Slayer beat Tristal in the last tournament too. That was a showing. All right, and we have had tonight's big loser join us in chat. I say this in jest. We're such good friends. Congratulations, Mono. You gave her all. She's got 2 hours and 27 minutes, and you finally throw in the towel after wiping to chaos. We asked Edge earlier. The first hour of this seed was absolutely out of control, and you had an even rougher go of it. So walk us through the frustrations of that first hour and just your general feeling about this seed.
No, I felt pretty good. 40 minutes, I checked every chest, and then I checked my list, and it turned out I had a cleared. I checked a box where I cleared everything, and then it ended up having a key item, so I have to check everything back again.
Yeah, the cube cost it because I was pretty unlucky to have the dwarf cave so deep in a dungeon behind the cube block, and to sail back and forth to get it. That basically let Edge get the lead over you that he kind of hung on to for the rest of the race. Did you feel a moment of relief when you finally got that canal and then got all that stuff back to back there on the open sea?
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it was really fast after getting the floaters from the shops. That was great.
Yeah, it's funny how much work you have to do to get that far, and then it's just like for sale. It's like here's $20. I'll take a magical airship. Yeah.
Yeah, the magical airship only cost 8K. Come on, I had like 90.
It's pretty weak. Monoci, you did a practice flag, well, variation of the flag a little earlier today. How different was it actually for this race compared to what you did there, knowing in a flag set where everything's loose the way it was, where you had 10 loose items and they were all the important?
It was almost the same. I expect to be like level 30 around going to TOFR, but then that clear checks box, so I didn't grind the eye as much as I want to.
Same question I asked Edge earlier. So this is the first race basically ever that didn't have incentivized main progression. The rod, the cube, and so on and so forth, the loot. How does that feel playing this for the very first time and racing it?
I like it actually. It's just that the party was not so friendly.
It was a pretty weak party. Yeah, that we just really wanted to challenge you two guys because you're so good at this game to see how you would handle that. And you both were so adventurous in the early game, and if not for that misplaced cube, this could have been a really tight race because you had like the same ideas and the same strategies going on for the first 15-20 minutes. Do you have any congratulations for tonight's champion?
What?
Is there anything you'd like to say to Edge now that he has dethroned you and is currently getting his waist fitted for the belt?
Wait, what do you mean? He always holds the belt. What you talking about?
Oh, he
He's
had the
always
belt?
been the champ. Yeah.
Oh.
He's always been the best in the community.
Okay, well, let's pretend for a second that he just dethroned you. Now what do you have to say?
Well, I'll dethrone him next time then.
Alright.
I'll just
Yeah,
have to
we
get
do,
him out.
Go ahead, Mono.
No, it's all good. Go ahead, Volcanic.
I was going to say, we do have what appears to be just about a challenge series here, so we're definitely glad that you gave us the entertainment for calling out Edgeworth. It was a bold move. It was a dumb move, but you did it anyways, and yeah.
What? What do you mean?
It said if it went for that cube.
If you race somebody, you gotta race the best in the league. All right.
So hopefully we'll get another one of these spring tournament for 2019. So I know everyone's getting to practice that. So it's nice to get these alpha flags to kind of showcase the future of what's going to happen. And you guys definitely put on a show tonight, and it's I think we got everything we could have asked for. As bad as it looked early, we closed in around the 2-hour, which I think is extraordinary with these flag sets. So
yeah. It was a
Not
pretty
much else
awesome
left to
race.
say about it.
And at this point, I just want to, once again thank Speed Gaming for giving us this time slot on a busy Friday night. On Speed Gaming 1 is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Glitch Tournament, Super Metroid on SG2, Legend of Zelda on SG3, Super Mario Bros. 3, latest information on SG5. Lots of awesome games for you guys to check out on the SG networks. Thanks to our tracker as well, Moist Mogwai, my co-commentator in the booth, Volcanic. I am Nitz. It has been an amazing race tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and good night.
night, guys.
Good night.